What is up, everybody? Forbidden Podcast, episode 14, here on the FioriousNation channel on YouTube. It is Thursday, February 26th of 2026. It is about 10:05 here in the morning, United States, Thursday the 26th, almost March. I am co-host number one of Forbidden Podcast, Nick Fiore, creator of FioriousNation, and on to my right is my co-host number two of the show, and a very good friend of mine, Adam Carl. What is up, Adam Carl?
Fantastic. Yep, I'm very pumped for this episode.
Oh yeah,
just woke up recently and just had a few showers.
Yeah.
Well,
showers are never a bad thing. So
yeah, it was very cold.
I mean, I kind of take warm, hot showers, but I used to take cold showers. Believe it or not, I used to take cold showers in the past. But I mean, not to say it's a bad thing. So, cold showers or anything like that. But getting off topic here. Welcome everybody to episode 14 of Forbidden Podcast. We're nearing the end of February, man. We're almost into March, man. What the heck's going on?
Time is flying by.
Oh yeah, and we getting past the snowstorms, and then people making up a rumor there's going to be a snowstorm this Monday. Though I'm just looking up. I looked up before the show that we're probably going to get like an inch, and then I'm hearing days after that in my country, in the United States, it's going to be like 40 degrees, 50 degrees. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come, and we put an end to this cold weather for now, and we get the warmer weather again. Hopefully, because
spring is approaching.
Too much snow, man. I feel like it's been one of the worst winters in a long time. That's how bad it's been, honestly.
Yeah, like you're seeing it all. Even you see snow in the streets.
Yeah, and not too long ago, people could start to see the grass on their front lawns, and then all of a sudden, this past Monday or Sunday, rather. Sunday to Monday, we get another snowstorm. So it's like, when does it end? Can't just catch a break. So, but now they were calling for another snowstorm this Monday again as well. But now I'm just looking at recent updates on it before we went live here. Like I said, just about an inch of snow, and it's going to be warmer. So it's
it'll be all right, man.
Hopefully it's the end of the snowy weather, and hopefully we get spring and summer soon again. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But what I wish I could look forward to was the Elimination Chamber Saturday, honestly. The build has not been that good. And that is actually the big main event discussion here on the episode. We also got more to talk about as well. Not too much, but we're going to go over Vince McMahon and the car crash incident that he had in Connecticut It was a video leak that got leaked out. It was the Vince McMahon car accident from last summer, the day that Hulk Hogan passed away. We'll go over that. Other news like Stand and Deliver in St. Louis, and rumors of the draft. AJ Styles and WWE, is he leaving to go to AEW? We'll touch base on that. Also, the Vision, is it cursed? We're going to give our takes on that also, and as well as Michael Hayes on Chelsea Green. We got we got quite a lot to say about that. So stay tuned for that. And also Cody Rhodes, and will this be his last WWE contract? Is he going to leave to go back to AEW? Is he retiring? Could he take on more of a backstage or agent or creative role? Is he throwing his hat in the name of maybe someone to maybe run a creative? We'll give our takes on that as well. And we'll also give our preview and predictions for Elimination Chamber taking place this Saturday, the United Center in Chicago, February 28th. Hence the reason why this week's episode 14 of this week's Forbidden Podcast taking place today instead of this Saturday. And who knows, maybe giving it a shot of maybe Forbidden Podcast Thursdays, and who knows how much numbers that'll do. So it'll be interesting to see. But before we begin episode 14, I would like for you to hit that like on the video. It helps on the YouTube algorithm. It would certainly help the channel a lot as well. Make sure you subscribe to FioriousNation hit the bell for all notifications whenever this guy, am I right, whenever we go live here on YouTube. So hit the bell for all notifications when you do happen to subscribe to Fiorious Nation, and hit the like on the video as well. And got a little message in that. Mitch Kopsky, what's up, Mitch? Good morning, guys. What's up, Mitch? Good morning, Mitch. My good buddies as well. And he is also doing a watch party for Elimination Chamber. Speaking of which, he's doing a watch party for Elimination Chamber this Saturday night as well. So look forward to that. I may very well be on there. Haven't give my decision just yet, but who knows? Maybe at the end of the video. But he will be on the watch party this Saturday. Believe the chamber starts at 7. So, anyways. But anyways, shout out to Mitch. Hope you're doing well, Mitch, and thank you. But and also another thing that I have to mention, at FiorioNick579 over on X. Go follow me on X at FiorioNick579. Adam Carl, go follow Adam Carl at Adam Carl 2005. The X handles are on the bottom of the screen, as you may see right here. And TikTok at FioriousNation. Instagram, Nicholas Fiore 2014. Facebook, Nicholas Fiore 31. All that good stuff. And speaking of good stuff, let's get started on episode 14 of Forbidden Podcast by yours truly, Nick Fiore and Adam Carl. So, Adam Carl, what do you want to talk about, man?
May as well start off.
No pun intended to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. We may as well start off early now with this whole Michael Hayes, Chelsea Green talk. May as well get this out of the way.
Michael Hayes, our good old buddy Michael Hayes, bro.
Yeah, our good old pal.
What ridiculous comments Michael Hayes on Chelsea Green. He believes that fan support for Chelsea Green would disappear if she received a main event push. Listen to this. And this is from 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker, Undertaker's podcast, who actually is running AAA, and look what AAA is doing. And I think they're doing pretty good stuff over there. And Undertaker, I think, is a very big reason for that. The guy just gets it, unlike Michael Hayes, unlike Michael P.S. Hayes. That goofball. Quote, when we started that interview, the first thing I said was, Chelsea is as good or as talented and entertaining as anyone we have. But of course, that never saw the light of day. That was on the cutting room floor, because if you're gonna make me a heel, that's the best way to do it. To say she's not good enough, that's not really what I was saying. I don't regret what I said, because her role at the time, I said that, and even right now, is not the top role. It is to help make other people. As we all know, we're only as good as the people who help make. Now, with that said, if Chelsea caught fire because of this following and the support she has, we'd go with that in a heartbeat. Look at Daniel Bryan, look at Kofi Kingston. When they both caught fire, we went with it. Whether some people up top agreed with it or not, they went with it because that's what the people wanted. We're not there right now with Chelsea, and quite frankly, just my opinion. The people that support Chelsea now, if we started pushing her, would fade because she was getting a push from the machine. If she's getting a push from the machine, and she doesn't need my help. To her credit, she knows her role. She does it and plays it with a smile. I spoke what I felt to be the truth. All the truth is not out there. That's okay. People have hated me since the beginning of time, and if you ask me a question, I'm going to try to tell you the truth. I still fear that if we get behind her, it hurts that rebel support. Via 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker. And then following this, I believe Undertaker also said that Chelsea Green is underutilized.
Yep.
I mean, he's not wrong. Undertaker's not wrong there whatsoever. And he said that Chelsea Green's underutilized, pretty much saying that Chelsea Green, if given an opportunity, could really be something. Instead of the secret Hervis crap that Road Dogg has got her doing. Chelsea Green, if you watch her work from Lucha Underground especially, the woman can wrestle. The woman can actually go in the ring. And if we got that Chelsea Green on SmackDown, I don't think a lot of people at all would be complaining about her as much. And the woman can bump her ass off the ring, but they got her doing this shitty Secret Service stuff that's just, it's honestly, it's a ceiling. It's a ceiling for Chelsea Green. And nobody takes the group seriously. And it feels like a Road Dogg idea, don't you think? Because I think
jobbers.
so. Yeah, jobbers. Secret Service, or as my good buddy Adam Carl would say, what do you call the Secret Service?
Secret jobbers.
No, the other secret.
one. There's nothing secretive about it. We all know they're losers.
The Secret Purvis, bro?
The Secret Purvis.
Yeah.
Because that's all they perceive as. That's what they're perceived as, losers.
Yeah, Alba Fire's a loser. Exactly. Piper Niven was a loser. Then she got hurt. I don't wish injury on anyone, but she was going nowheres in the group. And Chelsea Green, another loser in the group, the leader of the Secret Service. The group is just not working out, and I feel like it's making SmackDown worse. Honestly, like especially if you were to get rid of the Secret Service, I swear to God, nobody would lose sleep over that. Honestly. And Chelsea Green could be something as a singles star away from the Secret Service bullshit. She could actually be something if you just give her a chance. The woman is not a bad wrestler, and she has the charisma. She can talk. She has the tools, and I don't understand why this fucking clown, Michael Hayes, doesn't see that. Tells me there's still Vinceism in him, and there's sadly still Vince poison in the company that needs to be extracted. And Michael Hayes, get him out. Get him right the fuck out. Him, Bruce Pritchard, Road Dogg, and Ed Koskey. Those 4 fucking stooges. Get them all out. Get them out.
Why can't we get The Undertaker as the creative writer for SmackDown?
Yeah, because unlike Hayes, Dogg, Bruce, and Koskey, Mark Calloway actually understands. He gets it. He knows what works, what doesn't work, who can be a star, who, and the opposite. What the fans want, what the fans don't want, what's going to get over, what's not. How come Undertaker can do Michael Hayes' job better than Michael Hayes? Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and The Undertaker, he just started booking shows.
Yeah.
He just started like last year.
Like, these are the people, like people like Undertaker, these are the people that Triple H, Paul Levesque should have on his fucking team. Not rats like Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard and Road Dogg and Ed Koskey. Not those 4 fucking rats.
Yeah, 4 rats who don't have an iota of what they're doing.
And then you got TKO up top like Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, and The Rock. Like, people like Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard, Road Dogg, and Ed Koskey, people like those 4 are not going to sit there and argue the top. Undertaker, however, would, I feel.
Yeah.
On that, and that's just my opinion on that. I think even like
since 1990.
I think even around a decade ago, this was when Bray Wyatt was still alive, and I think it was in his prime. I think he was just a new star in the company around at least a decade ago. Wasn't it like in 2015-ish that Undertaker, when he fought Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 31, which if you ask me, one of the greatest WrestleManias ever, and it's in the top 10 for sure, WrestleMania 31. One of the matches on the show is Bray Wyatt and Undertaker. Wasn't there, correct me if I'm wrong, dude, wasn't there a story that Undertaker wanted to put him over, and Vince insisted Undertaker go over, and Undertaker and Vince looked like they wanted to butt heads, and Undertaker saw something in Bray, but Vince didn't. And Undertaker and Vince were, it's like, imagine if Undertaker was working creative a decade ago, that Undertaker and Vince would absolutely be clashing and butting heads.
Yeah. And these are the people, these are people that Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, these are people that Vince surrounded himself with, that will tell him yes in everything. They will not combat him.
Yes, Vince. Can I kiss your ass tonight, Vince?
Yeah. Can I suck your dick, Vince?
Yeah. Yes, Vince. Yes, Vince. You're a genius. Yes, Vince, that's a great idea. Yes, you're always right, Vince. Yes, that's a brilliant idea. Yes, Vince, you're an absolute genius.
Yeah.
Fucking yes men on his team.
And The Undertaker, he on the Bray Talk, The Undertaker has talked about Bray Wyatt, many a times, and how he saw star in him. How he thought that Bray himself could have been the next Undertaker.
Yeah. It's just like the character and just everything about him could have been. I mean, unfortunately, he passed away, but I mean, years ago, a decade ago, when he was like in his prime, who was still very much a young talent, could have been something like a next Undertaker. And Undertaker clearly saw that. Undertaker knew his time wasn't going to be forever, and he's not the guy that's just in for himself and cares about the future of the company. Like Undertaker, he just gets it. He just gets it, bro. Like Undertaker just knows talent, and he doesn't do that with just anybody. Like if he sees something in you, he sees something in you. And Chelsea Green's another example of this. Undertaker sees something in Chelsea Green, and pretty much, and he's not wrong when he says about this. Says that Chelsea Green is underutilized, and says, "quote I think she, without a shadow of a doubt, would just." She says, "I think she, without a doubt, with just a hair more than streak, I think she could be a top player." Tell Mark Calloway when he's telling lies.
I just love how he did this in front of Michael Hayes.
Yeah, and when Michael Hayes says that Chelsea Green's not a top act, Undertaker, he called Michael Hayes right out on his bullshit and pretty much put Michael Hayes in his place. Which, good. Yeah. More people should be putting Michael Hayes in his fucking place.
Yeah, it had to be a punch to Michael's ego.
You know, the same man who pitched for Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble last year, and one of the producers for this year's men's Royal Rumble, where Jey Uso ran it back, yeeting in the Rumble in Saudi. And I pretty much guarantee you he will do the same thing in the Chamber this year, which I'm not looking forward to, with him yeeting in the fucking Chamber.
I bet you Michael Hayes was
on top of the pod. Him yeeting on the fucking pod, like.
They chose the heat with this when we could have gotten Chad Gable in the Elimination Chamber. But I digress.
But there's actually a report from WrestleVotes of who was actually supposed to be the last men's qualifier for this year's Chamber this Saturday. We'll get to that, but Undertaker thinks Chelsea Green can be an act. I agree. And people like Michael Hayes should be thrown right in the fucking bin, right where they belong.
Like, just look at the SmackDown Women's Division. It's shambolic.
It's shambolic. It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous on SmackDown with that women's division.
Like, literally. Like, you can't push Chelsea Green as a star at a time where that division needs stars.
Yeah. Jade Cargill was women's champion. Is not working out either, and she could use challengers. Credible ones and built up right.
Like, literally, Jade Cargill has done nothing as champion.
Bianca Belair
Bianca is injured for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and she's missing WrestleMania, and she may not be. She may or may not miss SummerSlam. She honestly, if you ask me, Bianca may not be back on WWE television. But Bianca Belair may not be back on WWE television until towards the end of the year, which is a shame because they could absolutely use someone like her.
Yeah, and who else? Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte. Like, they're in the tag division. They're
probably going to split too. Following WrestleMania, Charlotte and Alexa. So they're not going to be a team forever.
They're not going to be in the title picture for a while.
No.
Yeah, they're not going to be in the title picture for a while.
True. They got Nia Jackson, Lash Legend.
They got somebody like Chelsea Green.
Yeah, Chelsea Green could be something.
And then you got somebody like a Chelsea Green. Yeah, who can be a star.
Yeah, if you just give her the proper chance. Like, this Secret Harvest stuff is not it. It's a ceiling. Honestly, it's a ceiling. And Chelsea Green, honestly, how do you know if she works out or not? Take a chance on it. If anything, the company should be taking more risks, you know? Even if Chelsea Green doesn't work out, at least you tried and just give it a shot. And I think she could be something. Honestly, I mean, if you ask me, if Chelsea Green was given an opportunity, I think she would succeed. I really do.
I believe it.
She can be entertaining. She gets the sports entertainment aspect. She knows how to wrestle, and she can cut a promo. If you just gotta give her the right chance, and she will pass with flying colors. That's all you have to do. But it doesn't help that you have Road Dogg running fucking SmackDown, and then you got Michael Hayes who has too much say in the company. Yes, Triple H is to blame and he's head of creative, but it doesn't help he's got fucking rats to work with. It's almost like Triple H has to work with fucking fools.
Yeah, like you got Road Dogg. You got Road Dogg, on these on WWE Unreal during those creative meetings, pitching for saying that Julia should lose the U.S. title to Chelsea Green, and then Triple H is telling him, "Well, how does that make sense? What do we do with Chelsea after that?" And then Road Dogg is saying, "Well, I don't know."
Oh, I don't know. These are the people you have.
Why is this guy the fucking writing team?
Paul Levesque. These are the people you have on your creative team, Paul Levesque, right?
Yeah, people that have zero fucking brain. They have less brain than a pea.
Yeah. Unbelievable, man. I'm glad Undertaker put Michael Hayes in his fucking place. More people should. People like Undertaker should absolutely be on the creative team. Like more wrestling minds on the creative team instead of these fucking old hags like Michael Hayes and Bruce Pritchard, who don't care about anybody and are only there for the fucking paycheck. And that is all they're there for. They don't care about the company. They constantly have Vince McMahon in his ear in his pocket. I mean, they may have they may have Vince McMahon's ears. Like Vince McMahon may have transferred some of his ears to his cronies.
Literally.
Unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable. Throw Michael Hayes right in the trash bin where he belongs. And have Bruce Pritchard, Road Dogg, and Ed Koskey join him too. Throw them all in the bin. And how Michael Hayes still has a job blows my mind, bro. I don't how he's been in with this company this long, and why was he not fired a long time ago? I will never know. Nothing will change as long as he's there. Seriously. I honestly feel Michael Hayes has too much say in the company. And don't be surprised if he's one of the producers for the Chamber for the men this Saturday. That would not shock me at all. I'd be shocked.
He's gonna have Jey Uso run it back. He's gonna have him run it back. He's gonna be humping the chains.
I will fucking lose my mind, and not for the right reasons.
Yeah, he's gonna have Jey Uso. He's gonna climb the chains in those Chamber, and he's gonna hump the chains, yeeting, like he did on that top of the War Games game.
Yeet.
Oh.
Awful. Moving on from this Michael Hayes Undertaker stuff, I do want to talk about also real quick brief NXT Stand and Deliver. If I can pull this up right here, NXT Stand and Deliver. I have my notes on it here. So here we go. NXT Stand and Deliver. Pulling up my notes. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, so I read something the other day, bro, about NXT Stand and Deliver. Oh, we got new comment in chat. John C. Y6J. Hi. What's up? What's up, John C? How you doing? And he also says, who's in the box, you think? Or what's in the box? Believe me, man, we will get to that. What's in the box? What's in the crate? I'll be part of the preview predictions for the Chamber here in the video for Saturday for the Chamber. Believe us. So we're going to give our takes on that, who we think, who's reported to be, who may not be, but don't worry. But NXT Stand and Deliver, apparently it's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's not going to be on WrestleMania 42 weekend, and it's actually going to be around early April time. So with NXT Stand and Deliver, it's apparently, if you look this up, so find tweet. So Shawn Michaels, who runs NXT, even tweeted this out as well. He said that, oh, where's the tweet? Come on, stupid phone. Pulling up the thing here with Stand and Deliver. So, come on, where the hell is it? Shoot. Just bear with me, guys. This thing doesn't want to cooperate. Here we go. Okay, so As reported by Mike Johnson. So here we go. Here's a report. So NXT Stand and Deliver. Oh. Mitch says that is Greg John. Oh, Johnson.
Okay.
Oh, Greg John. So NXT Stand and Deliver. Apparently, it's not going to be WrestleMania 42 weekend. It's not going to be in Vegas. It's actually going to be a couple weeks before WrestleMania. I believe April the 4th in St. Louis. So PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported that his sources stated that now, yes, April 4th in Chesterfield, Missouri. And it'll be the first time since 2020 that NXT Stand and Deliver will not be taking place during WrestleMania weekend. Now, Mike Johnson from PW Insider reported that there is a reason why for this move. Now, sources state that the reason for moving NXT off WrestleMania 42 weekend was due to issues over the timing of holding NXT Stand and Deliver show on the West Coast the last few times WrestleMania has been in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Those spoken to reportedly stated that this had worked against the company's overall scheduling for their biggest week of the year. Those spoken to reportedly stated that this New Year's event was initially internally planned to take place in Las Vegas before the change was made. Mike Johnson then also reported that the feeling within WWE was that by moving the show up a couple of weeks to April 4th, their NXT Stand and Deliver event would have a stronger chance of standing alone and wouldn't be lost in the sea, quote unquote, of other WWE events taking place during WrestleMania weekend, like the Hall of Fame, and then WrestleMania 42 Night 1 and Night 2. And then Johnson also reported that those spoken to also stated that the schedule change could also free up WWE's production crew from having to produce 3 events in a 24-hour time period, like SmackDown, Hall of Fame, NXT, like I said, right before Night 1 of WrestleMania 42. Those spoken to reportedly also cautioned that WWE's decision to move this year's Stand and Deliver event from WrestleMania week should not be considered as a permanent decision. Those spoken to reportedly also stated that the company would evaluate and make the call as to the placement of their Stand and Deliver show on a year-by-year basis. End report, or end of report. I do not know how you feel, but I don't mind this in St. Louis, A. And B, I think on top of everything, I think this is a good move. I don't hate this move whatsoever. I don't know how you feel, but I actually like this. And also the fact that they're in early April. WrestleMania the past 2 years, and I've said this countless times outside this podcast with Adam Carl and other friends of mine, WrestleMania the past 2 years has been in late April. I think after next year's Mania, now I don't know WrestleMania 43 in Saudi next year if that's going to be in early April, late April or late March or whatnot. But I think after next year's Mania, I think WWE needs to stay away from late April WrestleManias. It does their television product and WrestleMania and their build no favors whatsoever. I feel like having WrestleMania in late April, it's too long. It's too long. WWE was better off when they did WrestleManias in late March / early April. I think after next year's Mania, they do need to return to that format again. And if NXT is doing it and it works, I think the main roster should take notes from that. I think Triple H and his team should take notes from Shawn Michaels and his team on that, don't you think? Because that's how I genuinely feel. I don't hate this move whatsoever. I don't. So ignore the phone call. Sorry about that. But during the podcast, so anything can happen here on Fiorious Nation on Forbidden Podcast. But anyhow,
anything goes.
Oh yeah, the gloves are all off, at this point with the show. Yeah. Anyhow, where was I? Stand and Deliver in early April, not on WrestleMania weekend. Do you think this is a good move? Because I certainly think so.
Yeah, it does. I like this move. It does give NXT its own spotlight, and I agree with the sentiment. Because they moved it to early April because so it will not be lost in the sea of weekends in WrestleMania weekend, because you have Stand and Deliver because over the last, I would say 2022, right? So when WrestleMania 38 was in Texas. Yeah, they have Stand and Deliver on Saturday and on the day of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and but
early afternoon, and then later today, WrestleMania night 1. That's a lot.
yeah,
Like, puts a lot of pressure on WWE production crew. Okay, we're NXT. Now we're going to rush all the way across the street for WrestleMania night 1. That's a lot of stress and pressure on the production team.
yeah, building the arenas, building
and
the
getting
ring.
there on time and yada, yada, yada. It's a lot of fucking
It's very
pressure.
stressful. Yeah, it can be very stressful and it can be draining.
Yes.
So
absolutely agree 100%.
As I put it on 3 shows in 24 hours, it would take a lot out of them mentally, physically. So
with SmackDown now 3 hours at least till this summer when they're supposed to go back to 2 hours to SmackDown this June or July of this year. Like, also the fact you have SmackDown for now 3 hours, then you got the Hall of Fame, and then you got Stand and Deliver, then WrestleMania night 1. Like, a Hall of Fame right after SmackDown, it's over at 11 right now. It's too much. If anything, maybe move the Hall of Fame in the afternoon or the late morning. I think that would be better. Instead of the Hall of Fame right after SmackDown when everyone's asleep and tired and wants to go to bed. That's a lot.
Last year. Look at last year's SmackDown, 3 hours. Then there was the Hall of Fame at what, 11?
Yeah, right 12? After SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the next night you have Stand and Deliver early afternoon,
and then right after that WrestleMania. You saw some people falling asleep because they were so tired, like Booker T. You could see, like,
yeah,
like he could barely keep his eyes open, or had his eyes shut.
Seth Rollins
couldn't even try to keep his eyes open. That's how tired he was. Like, with just it's late at night. Everyone wants to go to sleep after 3 hours of SmackDown. You're already drained after 3 hours of SmackDown.
3 hours of SmackDown, then the Hall of Fame, then the next night Stand and Deliver, night 1 WrestleMania after that, and then WrestleMania night 2. Like, it's just too much.
You're just cramming everything into one. It's way too much, bro. Way too much.
Yeah. So moving Stand and Deliver, it does not only give a shine on NXT, gives it their own spotlight. It gives the WWE production crew time and to get everything ready for WrestleMania night 1. And it doesn't drain them mentally. So,
I love
they got everything prepared.
I love this move a lot, bro. Honestly, I love this move.
So I think it's the right move. It's absolutely the right move, not just all for the production crew, but also for the talent, especially the NXT guys and girls.
And if this works out, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So as I was saying, it not only works out for the production crew, it works out for the NXT guys and girls on that roster because they have their own weekend, they have their own spotlight, and it's not going to get overshadowed by whatever is going to happen on the night of WrestleMania.
Exactly. And if this works out, I would hope Triple H and his team take notes from Shawn Michaels and his team. I mean, I know it's a Nick Khan move to have WrestleMania in late April because early April because the last time WrestleMania was in early April was WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and WrestleMania 40 in Philly night 1 on Saturday, April 6th. I was there live. It was chilly, but that's why you bring a jacket or long pants. Like that's on you to bring a coat and or a jacket and long pants. Like, I honestly think late March, early April manias are the way to go. These late April manias just don't work. They don't.
Like WrestleMania 40, I think this is the other part though. Wasn't it in an outdoor stadium?
WrestleMania 40, yes, there was no roof.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was no retractable roof, and this is why some of the matches on night 1 basically some of the matches had rain on them, like there were legitimate rain during matches. I'm surprised that nobody who had a match on that card basically slipped.
Well, I mean, that's why, if you're a fan attendance, that's why you bring a poncho or a jacket, something like that, or a hat, or dress warm,
Yeah, so
nothing wrong with that. It's it's too cold. I mean, again, there's a reason why people bring warm stuff like jackets to keep themselves warm, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
They really WWE needs to stay away from late April manias because it doesn't do them any favors whatsoever. And the product and the TV product suffers for it.
And Allegiant Stadium, it has a retractable roof. I mean, it's not like any wrestler is gonna slip in that stadium during a match. So, why can't you just have it in at the start of April? Yeah,
I know Nick Khan moved it to late. I know Nick Khan said the reason WrestleMania moved to late April was because it was warmer weather and doesn't want too much people complaining it's too cold. But just bring a jacket. You know,
Yeah.
what like these late April manias do nothing for the product. They don't. I feel like the build with a build to late April manias, it's too fucking long. It's too long and it just drags, and then Triple H wants to drag stuff out and just have it marinate more and just stretch stuff out. I understand Triple H loves the long-term booking and storytelling with letting stuff marinate and drag out and stuff like that, just to have it marinate and long builds. I understand where he's coming from because we didn't get that much with Vince. I get it. Nothing wrong with that, but not everything needs to be stretched out. And I feel like with a late April Mania, it's too stretched out. I think after next year's Mania, they need to stay away from late April Manias and from now on do late March, early April Manias. That's the way to go about it.
WrestleMania was supposed to have been in New Orleans this year, and they announced April 11th to 12th.
Even mid-April, I would take, but late April, no.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Why they couldn't have been just in April 11th and April 12th.
They had a middle of April WrestleMania during the pandemic, 2021 WrestleMania 37 at Raymond James Stadium. I think when it was like half cutout fans and half real fans. Even middle of April WrestleManias are fine. I mean, that okay. But past that, like late April Manias, that's a no for me.
Especially when you get have to build another pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yep. Then I think a few weeks after this year's Mania, May 9th, is going to be Backlash in Tampa, Florida. That's 3 weeks after WrestleMania.
Yeah, like that's not enough time to build to the pay-per-view.
No, not at all. Like you need at least 4 weeks of build, or close to 4 weeks of build. That's what you need.
Yeah.
You know, I really hope, like, with Stand and Deliver in early April, April 4th, right? I really hope this succeeds and Triple H and his team see this and they pay attention to this and they take notes from Shawn Michaels, and after next year's Mania, I really hope they start doing late March, early April Manias again. That's the way to go about it. And WWE was a lot better off when they did late March, early April WrestleManias. These late April Manias like this year, like last year, it's just not working out. It's not. I'm sorry. After next year, they need to put an end to the late April. They need to put an end to the experiment of late April WrestleManias. That's got to stop come next year. That's what needs to happen. And I really hope Stand and Deliver early April, April 4th. I hope it delivers. No pun intended, Stand and Deliver. But all in all, I think this is a great move. And hopefully, again, like I said, I hope it succeeds. And Triple H and his team should be taking notes from this, I feel. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the news on NXT Stand and Deliver. And they're in St. Louis. I'm assuming it's a smaller arena, but I think even NXT did this with TakeOver Dallas when Nakamura debuted 10 years ago against Sami Zayn, which was a classic, by the way. Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, NXT TakeOver Dallas. That was fucking great. And I think it was on 2 days before WrestleMania in 2016, I believe. That was this is when NXT was on the network. This is when NXT wasn't live and it was on the network on every Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, I think TakeOver Dallas was on April
Black and Gold.
Day. Yeah, April 1st.
Even a couple days before WrestleMania in 2019, they were in the Barclays Center, the NXT TakeOver New York, and that was another great takeover.
Yeah, it was April 5th.
Yes. And even the TakeOver Stand and Deliver WrestleMania in April 2021, even that was 2-night show. Even with that was not on the weekend of WrestleMania in 2021. Even that worked.
Yeah.
So I hope they do. So I hope it works out. And I know they said it's like not permanent, but if it works out, I would hope I hope it's not a one and done. I hope it succeeds. So we'll see. We'll see. Next topic of discussion, the draft. I do want to talk about a little quick thing about the draft. I read something this morning. I know it's a this morning thing, but I did read this morning before we went live here regarding the 2026 WWE draft. Now, as per reports from Body Slam, the company does not have any tentative date for the WWE draft for this year, either like last year. It said that it is possible that the Stanford-based promotion WWE will replicate its success from last year with superstars switching brands throughout the year, along with NXT call-ups. Now, they say in 2025, several superstars shifted brands during the year, like early in 2025, like the transfer window, which enabled the company to create new storylines across brands. The company moved away from a major shuffle at once and focused on shuffles when necessary to allow the product to evolve and make it more engaging. It says at the moment, fans should not expect a draft in 2026. However, WWE is constantly expanding its partnerships and major media deals. Keeping that in mind, the global juggernaut could have a draft in 2026 to bring back the older format. Now, I did read something that ESPN wanted to have like a draft thing with them with the ESPN deal, but eventually those talks fell through apparently. And they did make minor draft moves, or they made minor brand switches a year ago. Hence, like Cody and Drew on SmackDown, and then on Raw with Punk and Seth, stuff like that. But I did read ESPN and WWE were supposed to work out a deal to have the draft last year be on ESPN with after that ESPN deal was official with the ESPN Unlimited deal a year ago. But as we all know, that never happened and it never came to be. And the talks just all eventually just fell through. And that was not to be a year ago. But at this time, no draft for this year. That could change after Mania. We'll see. I do not know how you feel about this, but I mean, they did the last time they had a draft was 2024. That draft was not that good. In my opinion, it was not that good.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this year's draft. I mean, what's going to help?
Honestly,
what's going to help is the creative and getting Bruce, Koski, and Dog and Hayes out. That's going to help the company. Not sure if a draft would, but I will say this: I would be lying to you if I told you that the rosters haven't felt stagnant and the same the past 3 years. It feels like the past couple of years I've had the same roster, and I feel like a lot of people could use a fresh change of scenery, in my opinion.
Honestly, look at the roster, both Raw and on SmackDown. It's just so stale.
Especially
there's a sameness. There's a sameness that it shows.
Especially on Friday nights.
Yeah. They need a new flesh, fresh blood, and fresh breath of fresh air that could that revitalize the shows, revitalize the roster at a time where they need it.
Now, some may say the draft is dumb. I do agree because WWE doesn't know how to draft. But I mean, some may say it's like it's a crutch. It doesn't work anymore in 2026. I don't know, but I mean, if you do it right, I mean, they don't need to the draft pool format doesn't work because Jade Cargill SmackDown drafted SmackDown. She was already a part of SmackDown. That's just a waste of a fucking pick. For example.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether the draft is dumb, that's your opinion. But I mean, or actually, if you want to do a draft, do it the format like you did 2005, where you didn't have a draft pool. I understand Nick Khan wants WWE to be more sports-like, but not everything. That doesn't mean have to be like NFL and have the draft pool and where this one previous brand stays on this brand. It's just a waste of time. If you do a draft this year, if you want to have WWE knowing how to do a draft and you want it to be actually something, I would do the format for a draft like you did 2005. You know how John Cena was WWE champion, went from SmackDown to Raw the whole month of June of 2005, though it was a draft lottery format for the draft. I honestly feel that should be like this if they do a draft this year. And God knows both rosters need reshuffling, especially SmackDown. They can't be like the same roster forever. They can't. I know the draft is dumb, but you need to reshuffle the rosters back.
And
maybe like a transfer window. I could transfer a window. I would like something like that, like you had in late 2024 going into 2025, where certain people switch brands. That's a good idea. I would much rather prefer the transfer window slash draft lottery than an actual draft.
Like, and actually have people switching brands. Like, don't announce, Jey Uso is being drafted to Raw, even though Jey is still on Raw.
That's just lazy. That's just not knowing how to do the draft at that point.
Like, just don't put them in the draft pool then. If they're gonna stay, like whoever's gonna stay on the brand that they're already on, don't even put them there.
Which, if you ever do it, if WWE ever does a draft again, should champions be drafted? Because I don't think they should, unless it does. That also needs to change. But then again, the WWE titles on SmackDown, the World Heavyweight titles on Raw. The WWE title is the number one title in the entire company and industry. No matter how many world titles they have in the company, the WWE title will always be number one. I feel it should be on Raw, on Netflix, which is the flagship show. And the World Heavyweight title should be on SmackDown. Like 20 years ago back in the day, you had Raw, had the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and SmackDown had the World Heavyweight title and the United States title. I don't know how you feel about that, but
it should be something like that.
It could freshen things up. Certain people on SmackDown could use a move to Raw. Certain people on Raw could use a move to SmackDown. Don't just do call-ups. Have storyline, the Vision, like Braun Breaker having problems with Adam Pearce. Have storyline. Make it fun. Make it mean something. Like Braun Breaker moved to SmackDown because Adam Pearce has had enough of the Vision and Braun Breaker. Drew McIntyre giving Nick Aldis a headache, move him to Raw. Something like that,
Like it
Cody
actually,
Rhodes, Cody Rhodes.
Excitement.
Cody Rhodes moved to Raw for
this is what the shows needs right now. Excitement to them.
Cody Rhodes for Gunther. That's an even trade right there. Or maybe get Rey Fenix to Raw or Penta to SmackDown. Get the Lucha Bros back together. Something along those lines. Make it exciting. Do something like that. Or maybe like Grayson Waller, New Day, have Grayson Waller on one brand, the New Day on the other, or the other way around. Make it fun, make it exciting. I doubt WWE does something like that. I would love to see it. That's what they need. But those are the draft news. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's like have like a draft lottery format, not like the draft pools they've been doing, like with the draft from 2024 and then 2023 and 2021 and 2020 and late 2019. Like, that's just a lazy way to go about it, man. It really fucking is. Like how back in the day, John Cena was WWE champion, went to Monday Night Raw. Batista, then World Heavyweight champion, went to Friday Night SmackDown. This was the whole month of June of 2005. And you could have like a draft lottery transfer window go for like 1 or 2 months, like have it go on like WrestleMania is in late April this year. Have the whole month of May and the whole month of June, have those 2 months this year maybe be draft months. And then come July, beginning of July, that's when the draft, this year's draft is over and the draft results of this year are final. Have draft picks in the whole month of May and then the whole month of June, and then come July you stop. Then the draft results are final. That's what I would do. I don't know how you feel about that, because I think that'd be a very good way to go about it. Instead of the draft pool NFL draft format, I think a draft lottery, draft lottery, which is like a transfer window format. I think that's the best way to do about it if you're going to do a draft this year.
Yeah, I actually agree. The whole, I know they want to make it more sports-like, but it does kind of feel boring.
WWE is not NFL. I understand Nick Khan wants it to be more sports-like with WWE. I get it. But certain aspects, like from NFL draft pool, doesn't work in wrestling. It doesn't.
The NFL and professional wrestling, they're two totally different entities. You can't just make wrestling NFL, or you can't make NFL wrestling.
Can't make WWE into something that they're not.
Something like, and it's like same thing with MMA and boxing. You don't make them something they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're all separate entities and separate sports. They They should have their own identity.
Exactly.
So
But
with WWE with the draft, I think I think we talk about the 2005 draft. I can actually get behind that. Because the best time to do a draft is after WrestleMania.
yes,
And you bring everybody's gonna come out of WrestleMania. The Raw after Mania, people they want to get excited. How about you start a draft right there? And you
or
keep
it
the
could
draft,
have the Raw after Mania, or have the Raw after Mania the start of a 1 or 2 month draft period.
Yeah. For maybe May, throughout of May, even June. Then that's where you're gonna have the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. The winner gets their a title shot at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
like do something. You like draw a straight line from WrestleMania to SummerSlam.
you could do. Yeah,
That's where you have the
like
draft
that.
and you have the Queen of the Ring and King of the Ring. Like it can be fun.
Yeah. I doubt WWE does something like that, but that's something I'd love to see. It's like make it fun and exciting, something the company needs at this time. Trade, like I said, Gunther for Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes for 2 people from Raw, like say like whoever from Raw. Trying to think of some names. Finn Balor and JD like Finn Balor and Penta, 2 for 1 deal. Something like that to freshen things up on Raw and SmackDown, and especially SmackDown could use something like that, honestly. And I feel like the 2024 draft really shafted SmackDown, in my opinion. Like, I understand Raw was going to Netflix and Raw's the A show, but it's like you got to throw SmackDown a bone or two. You can't just rape him and just shaft him like that. You just can't. You can't just gut SmackDown like that and give them just cookie crumbs. With Raw getting all the big boys and the big dogs, and SmackDown just gets like leftovers. Like, you can't do that. You got to at least throw SmackDown a bone or two. And the 2024 draft was not that good at all. And I feel like and if you ask me, I really feel it shafted SmackDown at the end of the day. Where I understand Raw was going to Netflix, they need all the heavy hitters, but they didn't leave SmackDown much with anything in the 2024 draft. And I think that's a big reason why your draft in 2024 was terrible. Let's just look who they got.
Like, you need a balance. Like, you can't just have, like, for example, you can't just have Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on the same roster, on the same brand. Like, that's impossible. Like, how are you going to make time for them? Like, it's like, it'd be like putting Steve Austin and The Rock on Raw on the same brand in 2002. Like, you can't do that.
That's way
There's
too
a reason they had Austin on Raw and Rock on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Or Undertaker on Raw and Kurt Angle on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, I think Undertaker on Raw, at least in the draft for 6 months at least, but nevertheless.
But I could name a handful of guys on Raw and SmackDown that could absolutely
just put everybody on the same brand. You can't.
No, you can't.
It's like they switched to Cena and Batista in 2005. You could put them on the same brand.
No, and you couldn't have them stay and you couldn't have them on the same brand either. You couldn't have them stay in their brands either.
Yeah. Like their brands, they need to have their own identity, their own stars. And just
and new fresh feuds and everything feels fresh. There's a reason they did that. They did those 2 moves in 2005. Cena to Raw, Batista to SmackDown, and they were the respective world champions. No, Kurt Angle in 2005 going to Raw. Randy Orton in 2005 going to SmackDown. Carlito first night on Raw Carlito moved to Raw from SmackDown. Et cetera, et cetera. Chris Benoit. I don't like to mention him much on the show, but he went to SmackDown in 2005 from Raw. That was a good move because, some people that were doing nothing on Raw could benefit with a move to SmackDown and the other way around. Look at Benoit in early 05 on Raw. He wasn't doing much of anything. And the move to SmackDown was 100% the right call.
Yeah, just look at Jeff Hardy in 08.
Yes. And he did everything there was to do on Raw. There was nothing left for him there, so he moved to SmackDown, rightfully so. Rey Mysterio moved to Raw in 08. He did everything on SmackDown. Yeah, Jeff Hardy, 2008 Armageddon, WWE champion.
Yeah. Yeah. There are certain talents, that would benefit, that switching brands that can actually elevate their careers.
Even certain people that were underutilized, say on Raw or SmackDown, could use a brand switch. Like, look at like guys like Rey Mysterio, CM Punk drafted to SmackDown in 2009. They were not doing anything on Raw into that late 2008 going into early 09. They were doing nothing on Raw. And the move to
Yeah, like
SmackDown
what?
was
CM Punk was the
no
world
doubt the right
champion.
call.
Like CM Punk was like the world heavyweight champion, and yet he was being treated like second-class citizen.
Then he drops the title, the Jericho in late 08 in a championship scramble.
He didn't even drop it in a match. It wasn't even in the championship scramble match.
And then he went down to the tag division, and then he was in the mid card. Like, he did nothing on Raw in early 09, late 08, after he lost the world title in the fall of 08. He did nothing after that on Raw after that. And the move to SmackDown was, no doubt about it, no questions asked, the right fucking call. You know, Rey Mysterio was always synonymous with SmackDown. Did he do anything on Raw in early 09? No. He just had the feud with him, but after that, he just nothing. They did nothing with him after that. Had him feud with who? Fucking Mike Knox, who no one cared about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Jobber. Nobody cared about Mike Knox. This is what they were doing with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. So and in the history of the draft, we've had shocker big moves like Chris Jericho to SmackDown in 2009, or Triple H to SmackDown in 2008, Batista to Raw in 2008, etc., etc. Even like I mentioned, what else happened in the draft? Triple H to SmackDown 2004, RVD to SmackDown 2004, Edge to Raw in 2004. You know, moves like those. You know, what else? John Cena to SmackDown, then the Raw the same night in the 2011 draft. Randy Orton to SmackDown 2011. You know, moves like them could happen. They've had history of the draft with those kind of shocker big picks as well for big draft pickups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, titles have switched brands. I don't know if they do a draft this year and they switch titles, because if you switch, say, the U.S. title, then the other women's U.S. title has to switch. It's kind of, I mean, it may sound ridiculous. I mean, imagine having a men's U.S. title one brand and the other show the women's U.S. title. It's just ridiculous. Then you move one mid-card title for the men, you got to do it for the women too. Same thing with the men's world titles. So, I mean, if they do a draft, I don't know if you would have champions draftable. I think makes no sense for champions to be drafted. Unless Netflix wants a WWE title. I mean, the WWE title should be the number one title on the number one show, but it is on SmackDown at the same time. It is kind of dumb to have champions drafted. They shouldn't have to be drafted. They didn't do that in 2024, which I liked, but I don't know how you feel. If they do a draft this year, do you think they should switch any titles?
I would say the only titles that honestly should switch are maybe like the US and IC titles.
Yeah. Well, I would say, honestly, I would say the world titles.
Honestly, I think any champion should be eligible. I mean, if you're going to draft the WWE Championship to one brand, then you draft the world title to the other.
Yeah.
Or you draft the tag titles. You know, the world tag team titles, they go to SmackDown. You move the WWE tag titles over to Raw.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they're not called. They're not named after their specific brands anymore. It's been years already.
Yeah,
I think they switched the Raw and SmackDown women's titles.
Not the Universal title. Remember that?
Yeah,
the
strawberry
big
belt.
red belt or the big blue belt, the fruit roll-up title, as I would used to call it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was terrible.
They had the strawberry belt and then the blueberry belt.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Or the Pop-Tart belt, the strawberry Pop-Tart belt, bro.
Yeah. Thank God they get rid of these belts.
Or the toaster strudel belt.
Yeah, and this has been years already. Like the
or the fruit by the foot belt. Fruit by the foot. Remember those snacks? Fruit by the foot. Love fruit by the foot.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have the green Universal title. We could call it the Green Beans Championship.
Oh jeez, or the green eggs and ham title. Oh my god.
Yeah, but as I was saying, it's been years already. Like the Raw and SmackDown women's titles, they were changed. You know, changed their names and designs. The WWE and women's world titles.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just draft these belts now because they're already named after their specific brand. Like you could switch the belts and shake things up.
Yeah. Get Rey Fenix to Raw, put him with his brother Penta, reunite the Lucha Bros on Raw. Raw needs tag teams. Get the MFTs and White Six away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Have Cody and Drew after WrestleMania on separate brands, something like that. You know, switch things up. You know, switch things up. Certain women on Raw that could use the move to SmackDown and the other way around.
Have Cody, drafted to the same brand as Punk, or the other way around, and when you can finally build towards their one-on-one match.
And if Cody and Punk is the big match, I think that I would not mind done on SmackDown, but I think it should be on Raw. It's one of the biggest matches you can do. Though, I mean, you can't really gut SmackDown like that. If you move Cody, you got to move him for someone that's equal level, like maybe Gunther, CM Punk, but something like that. But I mean, make it exciting, I feel like the draft they could use. I mean, but it's dumb but it doesn't work, and it's dumb, especially if you have the draft pool format. If you have the wrong format, it doesn't work. But like a draft lottery, or maybe not even a draft a transfer window, I think is the correct way. Like I said, have a month or two, just draft period. Switch people up like you did in 2005. I think that would go a long way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the draft. If it comes this year, apparently as of this time, it's not. That could always change, but we will see what happens. If a draft happens this year, if it's confirmed, we will keep you guys posted. And if a draft does happen this year, just thinking about this now, a very possible mock draft here on the channel. So look out for that if the draft does happen this year. So we'll keep you guys posted if a draft is to be this year. And if it is, expect a mock draft here on the channel. So we'll let you guys know on that. But as of right now, no draft after Mania this year, but that could always change. Next story I want to talk about. I don't know if it's going to be a big deal or not. I don't know if I should really talk about this, but I seen something on Karrion Kross Killer Kross. He's the current MLW World Champion. And I think the other day he was interviewed recently, and it said he got a text from Paul Heyman. I don't know if this really means anything or not. I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know if he would come back to WWE Karrion Kross and maybe paired with Paul Heyman in a new vision. I mean, the vision is cursed. Seth Rollins is hurt. Braun Breaker's hurt. Now Bronson Reed is hurt. I don't know if you scrap the vision, I would, and maybe Paul Heyman starts a new vision. Maybe you call up some people from NXT, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Maybe you add Karrion Kross to Paul Heyman's new vision. And there's one thing Paul Heyman does see is talent. I don't know if it's Paul Heyman just seeing that he knows talent or if it's a tease. Apparently, they're teasing something that there's rumors that Kross could be back paired with Paul Heyman in WWE. I don't know how you really feel about this. I'm reading a report, and I think, and now Cultaholic, take them with a grain of salt. They mentioned something like Karrion Kross WWE return rumors fueled following a Paul Heyman text message. Now, this was from while speaking to Monopoly events at For the Love of Wrestling convention. The interviewer was Jamal Niaz. He asked Karrion Kross / Killer Kross, on that one, the Indies, about his recent MLW World title win when the former WWE wrestler suddenly looked at his phone and went, quote, "Oh." And the interviewer then joined Kross in the conversation and was looking at Kross's phone and announced that, oh, it was Paul Heyman who had just sent Karrion Kross a text message. Now, Kross did not reveal what the text message was all about, and he simply said, "Moving on," said Kross. As Adam Carl, I would say, moving on.
Yeah, whenever we see something stupid on WWE or AEW television.
Yeah. When there's something waste time on AEW TV, moving on. Or waste time on WWE in general, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Yes.
Because we don't want to waste our time with it.
Right. But what do you think about this, man? I mean, does it mean anything much? I don't know if it really means much. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this, if it really happens or not. I mean, Heyman does know talent. I don't know if this is sign of things to come, of does Karrion Kross and Scarlett join a new vision of Paul Heyman? Do they work with Heyman? I don't know how you feel if it does happen. What do you think of Kross in the vision? I don't know. And I think he's still a free agent out there. He's not signed to any major company.
He's
He
not.
is the current
Yeah,
MLW World Champion, and he is supposed to be at ACW Aftershock on Saturday night, March 14th at Poughkeepsie, New York, which I will be live, by the way. He's supposed to be there wrestling a triple threat match for the ACW World title against Richard Holiday, the champion of the match, and TNA champion Mike Santana in the main event. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on this Karrion Kross situation, or Killer Kross situation, I should say, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, you may as well call him. You can call him pretty much whatever you want, generally.
Yeah.
So, what are my thoughts?
I don't think he would mind either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very intriguing, to say the least. Because, especially because he's not been signed to any company. He's not been signed to any promotion ever since they let his contract run out in WWE. So, and, he's been doing this whole, character, I think, where, he says that he's been sent by Triple H to be on the indies and all that stuff. And so, what do I think about him being in the division? Honestly, if I'm being honest, he's just better off on his own. Like, does he need to be in the division? I mean, we're gonna go more in length of the group and how much they're cursed legitimately.
I don't think it's needed. It would be intriguing, but I don't think it's needed. It's not. You don't have to do it. It's not necessary. It would be intriguing, but I don't think you have to.
Yeah. So if he's got the text, I mean, there has to be a reason why he hasn't signed anywhere. Why he hasn't even signed even to AEW. Then again, Tony Khan has expressed no interest in bringing him in. So, he's Tony doesn't want him there, and Kross, he hasn't signed to them. He hasn't signed to TNA or New Japan. So there's got to be a reason. He's spent those last year.
And I think Kross has said he wants to be in WWE. He wants to end his career there. Like, he wants to be there, but it wasn't a work. I mean, apparently it was like when his contract ran out last summer, and it was said that they wanted to talk to him before talking with Scarlett instead of talking them both together, because Scarlett's a part of the Karrion Kross act. I don't know. Do you feel like it's more Triple H just foolishly letting him go, or what do you think it was with TKO move? They pretty much want to talk to Kross first before talking to Scarlett, because TKO is all about the money, obviously.
Honestly, I think Hunter likes the guy. I think he thinks highly of him.
Though
I don't know why you just
Kross did cut that promo right up to WrestleMania last year, where it's like, you got to be a good soldier, you got to become undeniable, my ass, and he told those at the top, go fuck yourself. Where it's like, oh, everyone's about a viral moment. Here's the viral moment, go fuck yourself. And then he talked about AJ Styles, like, he had to do it his way, should have listened to me. And it's like, sometimes do the right thing, you got to do the bad thing. Remember that Karrion Kross,
I know
that shoot promo last year.
That was great. Yeah, and if you can recall, with Paul Heyman, he was on the Ariel Helwani show last year talking about Kross.
Yes, it was around early November of last year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
yes.
Paul Heyman, he was the interview with Ariel
Helwani.
Yeah, on this podcast, and he talked about Kross.
Who's a good guy, by the way. Ariel Helwani. Shout out to him. Helwani's a good guy. Shout out to him, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll hear from us, but we like you here, Ariel.
Yes,
we like you over here. And so, and it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time that Hunter, has done Triple H that he's done something like this to keep things very secretive and very close to the vest. Because, with the whole Seth Rollins, injury angle at Saturday night's main event, everybody believed, even the roster, they thought that Rollins was hurt, and Rollins had to go on, to his house and go on the internet. He had to work people, and then at SummerSlam, when he threw his crutches, and it turned out that he was never really injured. I could see Hunter doing something, like this with Kross. where, people think that he's not going to come back. Maybe Cross does end up coming back, but he doesn't want to let people know about it.
I don't know. Cross did say it was not a work, it was a shoot, though. So, I don't know.
I mean, he's not been signed to any promotion for months. There's got to be a reason for it.
It would be foolish to not want to have him back, honestly. And he's not even bad as a wrestler. And the guy, like, if you talk about promos and character, Cross gets it. He's one of the guys that has, if there's anything about Cross, he has a very good mind for the business. He's a very creative mind, is Mr. Cross, if you ask me. And I don't, and you mentioned before, AEW has no interest bringing him in. I think they probably want to bring him in, but not Scarlett. And Scarlett does make the Cross act. And Cross has pretty much said on countless times, if I'm doing something, Scarlett's with me. We're a team, Scarlett and I. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Wait, the guy, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all.
They're a package deal.
Like, look at Karrion Kross in his first WWE run when he was called up to Raw in the summer of 2021. He was called up by himself, and there was no Scarlett. That was a big mistake right there. And this was when Karrion Kross was the NXT champion in the summer of 2021. He had the bald head and stuff like that. He had no long hair, but he was NXT champion. And remember the summer of 2021, July, and Cross was NXT champ on Raw, and he lost to Jeff Hardy in 90 seconds on Raw when Cross was NXT champion. That was god-awful. God-awful. Losing to Jeff Hardy when he brought back No More Words theme song, lost to Jeff Hardy in 90 seconds, rolled up in 90 seconds clean by Jeff Hardy.
Mind you, Jeff Hardy, who is a babyface, who was supposedly the babyface, Jeff Hardy, he rolls up the heel, and he needs the ropes. He puts his feet on the ropes for the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, great babyface right there. Yeah, great babyface right there. He's cheating to beat the heel.
And it buried the NXT title at that point too.
Yeah.
And Cross was undefeated, by the way, that year. Then Jeff Hardy beat him in 90 seconds.
And
Vince and Bruce brought him up to Raw at that time to pretty much embarrass him and bury him big time. And then they put him in strap suspenders, and they put a demolition helmet on him, which looked like something you could get for 5 cents on fucking eBay. It looked terrible. I think even Cross I think even Cross himself went on Chris Van Vliet's podcast and even said this was after he was released in late 2021. He even said on the Chris Van Vliet podcast that he pretty much said the helmet sucked and it was a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah, he looked like Demolition's long lost son, right? Yeah, like wearing those suspenders with the helmet is fucking awful.
Yeah. The long lost son of Axe and Smash.
Yeah, and then I think on Twitter, after he was released, somebody said on Twitter, I wonder if Cross will give him the helmet. And then I think Cross replied to that person, nobody wants that piece of shit, brother.
Yeah, pretty much said that the demolition helmet that he had fucking sucked, which he's not wrong with at all.
Yeah.
It looked ridiculous on him. Like they had him in a demolition helmet and fucking suspenders. Like he looked ridiculous in that. This was after he lost the NXT title at the end of the summer of 2021. Remember that? Yeah, awful. And I think if you ask me, would I mind Cross back? No. And I think he has a lot of unfinished business there. He hasn't even been a champion yet on the WWE main roster, if you ask me. So I mean, I would not mind him back. I mean, I don't know how I feel about him with Paul Heyman. Does he need to be with Heyman? No, he could be fine on his own. But I mean, it is intriguing. But I don't know how you feel about that. Because with Seth Rollins hurt, Braun Breaker hurt, Bronson Reed hurt, the Vision is cursed. And I would just end the Vision and maybe have Paul Heyman create up his new group, like a new Vision. Karrion Kross, maybe call up Ethan Page, who just lost the North American title this past Tuesday on NXT to Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne is now the new NXT North American champion. Maybe call up Ricky Saints. I could see him called up just like Ethan Page before the end of the year. Maybe a new Vision on Raw with Paul Heyman, with Ricky, Ethan, and Cross. With Scarlett.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Seth Rollins is not a guy. He's not a leader of a faction. Braun Breaker, I don't think really needs Heyman. He's better on his own. Bronson could succeed on his own too. And the vision just feels cursed. I would say just end the vision, maybe create up a new vision, a new group led by Heyman. Like I said, Cross, Ethan, and Ricky with Scarlett. So I don't know how you feel on that, but I mean, would I mind Cross back? No, but I mean, I don't know if he does come back. I don't know if he would want to come back.
I can see him coming back.
I think he said even on Ariel Helwani's show, he does want to be there. He does want to come back. He does want to end his career there. He does want to be in WWE. He wants to be there. But I think those up top wanted to talk to him first before Scarlett, but it's like, you can't do that. They're a package deal. I don't know if you feel that's a Triple H move or that's like a Ari Emanuel TKO Endeavor move. I feel like it's more Endeavor TKO move. I think they handle more of the contracts, I think. Triple H is just their employee as head of creative. I don't think he has much of a say of in terms of like contracts, like extending contracts. I think that's more of a TKO board call. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, TKO. I mean, they handle the business side of things, and Hunter is only running creative.
Yeah, I don't know if Triple H has that much say in extending contracts or not. I don't think he does. He has played it safe and creative the past year, but I don't think, as far as contracts goes, I don't know if he has much of a say on that. So, but I would not mind Crossback if the circumstances call for it. And there's got to be a reason why Heyman is texting Cross. And if you pay attention with Raw, Paul Heyman said someone from above or something, like trying to get above Adam Pearce on Raw. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We thought maybe Chris Jericho. Maybe it's Karrion Kross. And Cross did mention the shoot promo right after Mania last year, you know, you got to be a good soldier. You got to become undeniable. My ass. And then he pretty much said, go fuck yourself. You want a viral moment? This company's all about moments. You want a viral moment? Go fuck yourself. From Killer Cross, go fuck yourself. What Cross said last year. That was actually pretty good. I remember that, man. Where it's like, you know, I was in the 100 Battle Royal in Sin City. They cheered for me, but you ignored it. This is from the Karrion Kross promo right after Mania last year, by the way.
Like they had WrestleMania like in his hometown, and he wasn't even on the card. He didn't even have a match.
He did interfere in the AJ Styles Logan Paul match, but that was about it. But what do you think about Karrion Kross coming back? Could you see him coming back? Would you not mind? Would you mind him back?
I could see him returning. I think he'll be in. I think they would welcome him with open arms. I mean, TKO, after all, you know, they're all about business. Plus, you know, considering, you know, this company, you know, WWE, especially in these last, I would say, like 6 months, like they've been snake bitten by injuries.
They have. It all started with Seth Rollins doing a stupid flying headbutt coast to coast version at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia last October, which honestly Seth should have never pulled off that move. It was he did a Benoit flying diving headbutt with a coast to coast version of it, and he injured his fucking shoulder. And if you ask me, that's what started the curse of division, when they were just starting to finally get their feet up off the ground after a few months of the group forming. But that's just my 2 cents on that. But yeah, I would not mind Cross back. We'll see what happens. If these texts mean anything from Heyman and Cross, we'll let you guys know. There's got to be a reason why it's happening. Paul Heyman doesn't. If it is from Heyman, it doesn't happen for nothing.
Yeah,
there's got to be a reason for it. But we'll actually might as well lead to the next topic of discussion: the Vision. Well, I'll be honest, the Vision is cursed. Well, I'll just put this out there. Sorry, not sorry. The Vision is fucking cursed. With Seth Rollins out and Braun Breaker out, Bronson Reed out. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you this. The Vision is dead. The Vision is dead. I'm sorry, it's fucking dead.
You're not lying. I mean, we already said it already. You know, they're cursed, and all of that. You know, we already said it on this episode already. But like, they're legitimately cursed. Like, it has not. This storyline, this vision, this storyline, this faction, it has not gotten in the direction that, no pun intended, the company envisioned.
True.
This has not gone in the direction that the company originally planned.
Just look at Seth Rollins at Perth, Australia last October at Crown Jewel. He does a flying headbutt that he should have never done, and that's how he injured his shoulder. And imagine had Seth not got hurt.
Diving headbutt.
Yeah, Benoit flying headbutt, which I don't know why we're still doing this move in wrestling in 2026. I know Chad Gable does a safer version of it, but even with that safe version of it, I still cringe every time I see it. He even did it to Jey Uso during Raw this past Monday night.
He didn't even hit it on Jey Uso. He landed on himself.
Right in his fucking head.
My God.
Like, that's a good way to get concussions or CTE or really fuck with your health long term. Dynamite Kid did it, ended up in a wheelchair. And Harley Race did it. And he even warned Pete wrestlers, don't do this move. It really fucks you up health-wise long term. There's nothing, like he said, don't do this move. He's like, don't do this move. And then Chris Benoit does it. We all know what happened with Benoit with the CTE, and then he killed his family before himself in June 2007 with the double murder-suicide incident when he killed his wife and 7-year-old son before hanging himself. We all know what happened with that, unfortunately. You know? It's like, I really feel, I don't know how you feel, this is how I personally feel, not just WWE, wrestling in general, I really feel needs to ban the flying headbutt. The diving flying headbutt, I feel like should be on the banned list of moves.
Like legitimately, WWE, TNA, AEW, I should ban that move. Real.
Imagine if Seth did not get hurt and he didn't pull off that stupid move. And that was dumb of Seth to do that. I don't know why the fuck he did that. That was so fucking stupid of him to do that. Just one move fucked everything up and fucked up Triple H's plans of what he wanted to do.
Yeah, fucked up the entire WrestleMania build. Even now, they're scrapping for plans on what to do.
They're constantly changing plans because of fucking injuries.
Yeah, like you could literally
I know a lot of creative, and I know it's a lot in creative, and that it is a lot of creative, but I feel like with the injuries, I think on top of that is the injuries. But imagine if Seth didn't get hurt, we would have gotten it was supposed to be apparently Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania this year for the world title, and then Cody and Punk for the WWE title this year's Mania as well. That would have been if Seth did not get hurt. Roman could have still won the Rumble, but would have got Seth, Roman, and Punk and Cody.
Yeah, then I think the plans are for War Games. It was supposed to have been the Vision and Brock Lesnar and Austin Theory, I think.
Yeah.
Against the babyface team that ultimately was the Bloodline. Roman and the Usos, Cody and Punk. That was supposed to have been the War Games, team, but then Rollins got injured, which is why they had Logan Paul in there.
Yeah,
and Austin and Drew McIntyre as well.
Yeah,
they had to remove Theory from the match.
If Seth didn't get hurt, the Mania build and the card would have looked a lot better than it does now.
Yeah, it would look so much different.
Instead of what we're getting now with the build. Instead of what we're getting now with the build, what was supposed to happen would have been a lot better off.
Legitimately. And then you look at Rollins, Braun Breaker, and you could tell, you can make actually a case that maybe Braun Breaker doesn't get injured.
And actually make a case because
if Braun Breaker is still with the Vision, if Rollins is there and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were still the guys who watch over him, maybe Braun Breaker does not flip over the announce table.
Yeah, Braun Breaker with a hernia flipped over the announce table the Raw for the Rumble this year in Philly. He's lifting up the announce table, and that's what aggravated the injury, supposedly.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't do that if they open the show with a Seth Rollins promo and Braun Breaker doesn't snap.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of whom, if Seth and Roman was originally happening, how Braun Breaker turned on Seth in October, right after Crown Jewel in Perth. If Seth did not get hurt, we could have gotten Seth and Braun attacking Seth, and Seth and Braun feud coming right out of Mania this year. Had Seth not got hurt, instead they had to rush it and have Braun turn on Seth in October because of Seth's injury. So at that point, they had no choice. And then Braun Breaker with the hernia injury, he's probably going to miss Mania this year, unfortunately. He's probably going to be out for at most 6 months. Then Bronson Reed, the Elimination Chamber qualifier this past Monday. Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, and El Grande Americano, or Gable Americano. Gracias. Apparently, according to WrestleVotes, Jey Uso was not supposed to win that qualifier at all. It was going to be Bronson Reed, but they had to change on the fly during the match because Bronson Reed got hurt. Bicep injury, and he's going to be out for 4-6 months?
Yeah, I think the spot that got him injured, if El Grande, Gable Americano, he does this diving headbutt, which, again, he does not land on anybody. He lands on himself. But Jey Uso had to sell it as if he was hit by it. Then Gable, he goes for the cover, and if you see clearly, if you see Bronson Reed
rolling, he rolled on, landed on his shoulder.
Yeah, he hits his forearm on Gable's abdomen, and and Bronson Reed, he's holding his right arm, his right bicep. He could instantly knew that something was wrong with him.
Yeah, and the way he landed, they did it in slow-mo too, and I have to say it did not look pretty. It did not look pretty at all.
Not whatsoever. And I think there was also a spot where he was going to do a German, I believe, on Gable. Bronson Reed was going to do a German on Chad Gable, and he wasn't able to do the move.
Yeah.
And the referee,
he's on the outside. Then he's on the outside. He's favoring his arm. He's down. He's not standing up. He's down off his feet. And you see the medics going to check on him. And like Adam Carl said, they throw the X sign, which is never a good sign at all. When you see the X sign, that's that is not good. That is not good news, period.
Never.
And then they had to have Jey Uso win instead on the fly. And Jey was never supposed to win. If anything, Jey Uso lucked out big time. And had Bronson Reed not got hurt, we would not have had to worry about Jey Uso running it back in the chamber. And this injury that Bronson Reed had really fucked things up. And unfortunately, we're probably most likely going to get running it back yet again in the chamber because of Bronson's injury. And not blaming Bronson Reed by any means, and not blaming Bronson Reed by any means at all whatsoever. Injuries happen at any time, but this is the worst fucking time to get hurt. And just this injury bug that WWE's had, and especially with shoulder injuries, like Sheamus got hurt, Liv Morgan got hurt, bunch of others, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker's out with a hernia injury, now Bronson Reed out with a bicep injury. And this is the second time that Bronson Reed's gotten injured right before Mania. And even in War Games in 2024, Tsunami off top of the cage, broke his foot, missed last year's Mania because of it.
Talk about the injury bug. It's not just WWE. Just look at AEW. I know we're not going to talk about them much here, but it's like last night on Dynamite, Penelope Ford did a moonsault on the outside during the women's tag title match. Her and Megan Bayne against Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. She does a moonsault on the outside, and she lands wrong on her feet. And now she got a leg injury. And according to the Fightful, the original plan for last night was supposed to have seen Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne winning the women's tag team titles off of Willow and Harley, but they had to call an audible mid-match because Penelope got injured. And that's why you see the DQ finish with Lena Cross, attacking Harley and Willow. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, so it's not just, a WWE problem, it's a wrestling problem overall. Not just for one company, but for the other company as well in AEW.
Worse off in WWE with this injury bug. It's like they can't catch a fucking break. And Sheamus, I mentioned, got injured in November. Shoulder injury. Rey Mysterio was injured as well.
Yeah, I believe. Sheamus, he's been shoulder injury. Rey Mysterio got injured. B-Fab got a concussion.
Michin got injured too for a while. Yeah,
shoulder injury.
Kevin
Owens is still out. He's still out with a neck injury. Bianca Belair just got surgery on her thumb.
She's been out for a year since Mania. She was last seen at Mania last year with a match of the year candidate with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat Mania 41 night 2 opener last year. She's not been seen since, and with the finger injury most likely being that bad, more so than we expected it to be.
And even And I know I think he revealed it that AJ Styles, he got a leg injury in October of 2024.
Roxanne Perez was recently hurt too. Though she'll
So
be
it's
back
just,
soon, but Piper
like
Niven's out. Naomi's pregnant. Kevin Owens, neck injury last year.
So it's like it's very stressful. Like if you're Triple H.
Elton Prince with a neck injury. Chelsea Green ankle fracture. Zoe Stark injured. Xavier Woods injured. And now Bronson Reed injured.
And then you look at the AEW side, Penelope Ford, she's injured. Jake Doyle, Jake something, he got a bicep injury last month. Adam Cole is still out because of his concussions.
Yeah.
Who else? Wardlow got out.
Talk about a guy, and I love Adam Cole, but but unfortunately, talking about someone that's injury prone.
He's just so unlucky. You talk about unlucky, him and Penelope Ford. They're like the unlucky two in AEW. Like their runs have been sabotaged by injuries. Like Jay White too.
Yeah,
Jay White, like he's been out for a year with a hand injury, and before that he had a knee issue.
It's a shame, man.
Like you talk about guy, and with Bronson Reed as well. He was being pushed. He got that feud with Seth Rollins in 2024. He got that feud with Braun Strowman. He was doing phenomenal work, and then then he gets that leg injury in the War Games match. Then he comes back in May. He becomes a member of the Division. He beats Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, and then he wins War Games with him and Logan, Breakker, Lesnar, McIntyre. Like he was getting a push. He was on the rise. And then just right before WrestleMania, and in a match where he was supposed to have won this Chamber qualifying match, he gets injured. This is the second injury in like what, a year? This is the second time an injury has ruined his push. It's like he can't catch a break. Guys like him, guys like Cole, and Jay White and Penelope Ford, like they just can't catch a break. It's just bad luck.
It really is, man. I
feel bad for the guy.
It sucks.
I feel sorry for the guy. The guy's great, but fate unfortunately has other ideas, and he gets hurt in the worst possible time. Like WrestleMania is 2 months away, and you would figure, and this is what kind of makes it even sadder. The Vision, Rollins, Breakker, Bronson Reed, like they were going to be big parts of this year's WrestleMania. This year's WrestleMania was supposed to be built around the Vision. And here we are now in February, and all three original members are injured. Rollins is out. Brian Breakker is out. Now Bronson Reed is out, and all three of them, well, unless Rollins and Breakker can get cleared now or in March, but unless that happens, all three members of the Division are going to miss WrestleMania this year. Like that's sad. Like that's fucking sad. I feel sorry for obviously Bronson Reed. I feel sorry for all three guys, Breakker and Seth, because this entire angle, this entire storyline, it has not went the way they intended for. This has not gone in the direction they wanted. This whole storyline, it's been on the group itself, it's been fucking destroyed by injuries.
I agree 1,000%, bro. I think it's in WWE's best interest. If I'm WWE, I'm getting rid of this group completely. I think it's probably the best thing. And now it's not probably most likely than not is the best thing for them to end this group. It's not working, and like the injuries have really killed pretty much all momentum of this group. Like then when Seth won the world title, faked an injury, and they faked an injury with a story. I mean, it didn't work, and now it's karma's. They say karma's a bitch and comes back to bite you. I hope they learn their lesson on that. But with the Vision, when Seth won the world title, cashing his Money in the Bank on CM Punk on night one of SummerSlam last year in New Jersey, right? After he cashed it on Punk, I felt like after the Vision was finally starting to get that momentum, finally, after a few months of forming. And then Seth goes down with injury. Then they're going up. Then just it took a big nosedive, I feel, after Seth got hurt. and they had to rush Seth getting kicked out because of Seth's injury. If anything, Seth's injury last October was the start of the downfall of the division. That was the start of downfall for the group and really fucked up everything. And what you're seeing now on the WWE product for Raw and SmackDown was not supposed to be. Had Seth not got injured, what was originally supposed to be, I guarantee you would have been much better than what we're getting now. And that's all. And I think Seth's injury really started that.
I mean, I like Austin Theory. I like Logan Paul, but they're not going to carry this group.
No, not at all. Logan Paul's a great athlete, but I don't see him. I mean, he's a Pokemon Karn artist, by the way. Pokemon Karn artist, by the way. But I don't know if he's going to be looked at good as a leader of a division. I don't see it. I don't.
Nah, like he's not a leader. I'm sorry. Austin Theory, I like the guy, but forget about it. He's not a leader as well in the group.
The guy's a better chance of hitting the fucking lottery and winning $1 million than being a leader of the division. Come on.
Yeah. Legitimately.
If Seth Rollins does make it back, if Seth makes it back by Mania, what would you do about Seth? What do you think about this? If Seth makes it back in time for Mania, not the others, would you do Seth and a tag team partner versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory of the Vision in a tag team match at WrestleMania? Maybe Austin Theory and Logan Paul versus maybe Seth Rollins and LA Knight, or maybe Seth Rollins and Bad Bunny. You know, Bad Bunny, they might be on WrestleMania this year. And Bad Bunny and Logan Paul has been teased since the Super Bowl this year when Logan Paul was asked, what do you think about the halftime of the Super Bowl this year? And Logan Paul's like, no. They've been teasing it since the Super Bowl. So I don't know what you think about that.
That's honestly the only way I see Rollins making it on this show because outside of that, what else is Rollins going to do on the show? Like, let's say Rollins is medically cleared right now. What else do you do with him? I mean, I guess you could have him get involved in the main event Night 2 match between Roman and Punk, and the story coming out of it is that he wants to win back the title that he never lost. Like, there's a story with that.
You could probably do that.
Yeah, you could do that, but at the same time,
if Punk and Roman is main eventing Night 2, which it should and will, you need a talking point coming out of that match, not just Punk retaining or whatnot, or Roman winning, then end credits, that's it. No, Seth, we need something to happen. We want a talking point going through all the next night. Seth Rollins comes back.
Yeah, you have Rollins, he attacks one of them at the end of the match, and then he always stopped the World Heavyweight Championship. And then that's where you start the story of him wanting to win back the title that he never lost. That's the other thing you can do with him on the show if he doesn't have a match.
And Seth could win it back from Punk, and then when Breaker comes back, he attacks Seth, and we start the world title feud on Raw with Punk, with Rollins and Breaker. Breaker could win.
Yeah, but exactly. Like the issue with it though, as much as it makes sense, like the last time we seen Seth, it was with the Vision. The last time we seen him, he got laid out by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So you can't just ignore. You can't just have Rollins the first night back. He just ignores what the Vision did to him, what Paul Heyman, did to him. Turning his back on him, intending to turn on him. Like the next time we should see him, realistically, he should immediately go after the Vision. But the problem with this, the two people, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, the two people he should go after, they're injured right now.
Which it sucks. I mean, you can't have them go after them and not ignore him now because Braun's hurt and Bronson's hurt.
Yeah, like you can't just have Seth ignore the Vision. You just can't do that. That would make no fucking sense.
It would make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, so as well with Rollins, if he's gonna have a match on WrestleMania, a tag team match with him and either Bad Bunny or LA Knight,
yeah,
against Austin Theory and Logan Paul, that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
like that would make the most sense. Have Rollins and Knight. They're
I would prefer if it's a tag team match format. I would do Seth and Rollins and LA Knight instead of Seth Rollins Bad Bunny. You could probably do Bad Bunny after WrestleMania, but if Seth and Rollins and LA Knight, they have beef, right? Coming out of last summer for one night at WrestleMania. They put their differences to the side. Seth and LA work together to try and take out Logan Paul and Austin Theory of the Vision. I actually like that idea. Instead of LA Knight and Brock Lesnar, which is rumored, which I think is a terrible idea, I would do Seth Rollins and LA Knight versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory at WrestleMania. If Seth
it gives LA Knight a win. It gives him a win at WrestleMania. I mean, he's got a better chance of winning in this tag match than he would against Brock Lesnar.
And LA Knight's been feuding with the Vision for months. You want to put an end to LA Knight feuding with the Vision once and for all? LA and Seth versus the Vision at WrestleMania in a tag team match, 2-on-2.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
I think that is the best way to do this, honestly. The best way to do it.
Yeah, if Rollins does have a match, that's the best route to go with him at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, if you can't do Seth and
maybe
Braun,
you could put a pause at the very least. And at the very least, after that, you could put a pause on Rollins versus the Vision for the time being, until you have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed back. And in the meantime, you have Rollins chase the World Championship.
Or if you want, LA Knight and the Vision feud ends at Mania in a tag team match involving Seth Rollins. Coming out of Mania, LA Knight and the Vision feud ends, but it ends that feud, but sparks the beginning of Seth Rollins feuding with the Vision. And who knows? Maybe they add new members of the Vision coming the Raw after Mania, where Seth feuds with them. Maybe a Ricky Saints, a Ethan Page, or Karrion Kross, something like that. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I genuinely would feel about something like that. One feud ends, one feud begins. LA Knight and Vision feud ends at Mania, starts the beginning of a feud with Seth Rollins and the Vision coming out of Mania.
Yeah, that could work.
They could
I don't
actually
think
do
we've seen
something
that
like
Ross and Seth before, right? I don't think we've seen that match.
Maybe this sets up Chris Jericho's WWE return to Raw after Mania. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about a Jericho Seth feud, but
I mean, if Jericho is free, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But if Cross is available, though, if he's not available by that point, you can and you bring back Cross, you could certainly do Cross and Rollins.
I don't think we've seen that.
Yeah, that would be something fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to go back with this Vision thing, like this group, like they're fucking dead in the water, legitimately. Like legit, they are dead in the water. I seriously hope Braun Breaker makes it back as fast as possible, and I hope Rollins makes it back as fast as possible. Because God knows these shows can use them.
If Seth and Braun can both make it back in time for Mania, it would be an absolute fucking miracle. But I don't see it happening. I'd be shocked if it does.
Like literally,
if it happens, I would be genuinely surprised.
Legitimately, just like with this Vision, like they're legitimately dead. Like this entire angle is cursed. This faction is cursed. Nothing has worked. Like this wasn't the intention that this did not go the way they intended it for. Like I feel sorry for everybody involved, and I hope every party, the Rollins, Breaker, Bronson, like they make it back in time. But it's like, honestly, from this point on, they should all move on. They should legitimately put the fucking kibosh on this angle. Have Rollins come back before Mania if he's cleared. Have him beat Logan in theory, teaming up with LA Knight, and have him move on from the Vision. Have him go after the World Championship. Like, figure out something. Something. When something doesn't go right, it doesn't go the way you want. You adapt. You build something different. If plan A doesn't go, you have plan B, plan C, plan D. You have backups.
And plans after that, plan E, plan F, plan G, plan H, etc., etc.
Exactly.
You want backups in anything in life. You want backups.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just have Rollins. Honestly, after Mania, Rollins should move on from the Vision. If Braun Breaker's not going to be back by then, have Rollins move on completely from the Vision. He beats Theory and Logan in Mania. He teams up with LA Knight. He beats them at Mania. And then he goes after the World Heavyweight Championship. Just move him on completely from the Vision.
Or at least for a while. And have Seth for a while chase to get back the title that he never lost.
Yeah. Braun Breaker, please, break him away from the Vision. Like, he doesn't need them.
Braun Breaker's a good talker on his own. I mean, it's nice with Paul Heyman with Braun Breaker, but I don't think Breaker needs a mouthpiece.
Like, Braun Breaker, even before that, he was actually doing some good work as the Intercontinental Champion.
On his own. He doesn't really need a manager. He can speak well for himself.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened. I mean, it's unfortunate that, that there is, for now at least, there was no resolution to the storyline, but guess what? Shit happens. So, it sucks.
Yeah.
But shit happens. And it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Figure out what you want to do with Seth. Figure out what you want to do with Braun Breaker, and have it nothing to do with the Vision.
I agree, 100%.
Austin Theory and Logan Paul, they could be a tag team. You could put them in. You could put the tag team titles on them if you want to.
You could.
But seriously, if I'm honest, put an end to the Vision. Put the kibosh to it.
I agree with that. Zero questions asked about that. So let us know what you guys think of what we said about the Vision and it being cursed down in the comment section below. We would love to hear your comments regarding the Vision, which honestly, the Vision is cursed. It's time to put the Vision out of their misery. It's time. It's time. The next topic of discussion, AJ Styles. AJ Styles, you know, he's going to go to AEW, wrestle all in Wembley, and the sickos say that. Well, I did read something about AJ Styles. He was on a podcast last night, right after Dynamite last night, I believe it was. I think Gallows and Anderson were on there.
Yeah, the Talking Shop podcast is basically Lou Gallows and Carl Anderson's podcast.
Yes.
I think they've done it for like 5 years now.
Yep. AJ, via the Talking Shop podcast, AJ Styles apparently addressed the claims that WWE put him in the Hall of Fame to keep him from going to AEW. And AJ Styles pretty much said, quote, in the podcast, everybody wants to say WWE put him in the Hall of Fame so he couldn't go to AEW. Guys, I'm retired from wrestling in the ring. That's all this is. I make my own choices. I make my own decisions. I was ready. So there you have it right there. Those thinking he's going to AEW. I mean, could I see him wrestle next year? Probably yes. Would I love to see him in AEW? Yes, but I mean, Triple H does care about AJ Styles, so does WWE, but it's Endeavor that care more about dollar signs. And the company did, again, and Vince was the one who sold the company to Endeavor, and it was never about selling the company. But with AJ Styles, I mean, he said in this podcast, like, he doesn't want to be old and embarrass himself. I think he could still go for being 50, but if this is AJ's decision, like if this is AJ's decision on his own, and nobody else, and that comes out of AJ's mouth and solely AJ's mouth and period, if this is how AJ Styles genuinely feels, then fine. I can't sit there and blame him. Like, this is ultimately AJ's choice. And if he wants to retire, then fine. If this is his choice, then I can't. Then I don't have to like it, but I at least have to respect him for that.
I mean, I respect the guy for it. I mean, you would want to retire while still being at the top of your game.
Selfishly, I want to see him I want to see him still wrestle selfishly because he can still go for his age. But if this is his choice, then fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's still very good. He's still one of the best to do it in the ring. I mean, he's still like he could go at least another 2 years at least. But I won't fault the guy for wanting to retire while still, being able to go in that ring. I will never fault a person for it. I mean, just especially if you look at his other contemporaries, his other peers that wrestled, if they worked with him, and he wrestled, or they were wrestling at the same time as him in the 2000s and 2010s.
Yes.
I can't fault him for it. Just look at some of the other legends that he wrestled with. Kurt Angle, The Undertaker.
Yes.
John Cena. Just look at their last years in the ring. Like Kurt Angle, just 2017, 2019, just fucking sad. It was sad watching him.
In the late 2010s, Kurt Angle could barely walk.
Like, legitimately. Like, he could barely move. He was out of breath. Like, he could barely do the angle slam. He could barely do the angle slam. Like, it was fucking sad. The Undertaker. How many stinkers did he have at WrestleMania? Or Saudi? It was sad watching him.
He almost fight in Saudi in the match with Goldberg after a botched jackhammer.
Like, the guy almost died in the ring. Like, Triple H, like, the last few years of his career.
Yeah.
Like legit, he could barely move. He was in great shape, but he could barely wrestle.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on Ric Flair.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Awful. Like,
Ric Flair, I
remember when they
retired at
had
WrestleMania 24 in 2008. Yeah, Tarnishes at Wrestles in TNA in the 2010s.
yeah, he worked with AJ Styles. They tried to make AJ Styles Ric Flair ripoff. Watching Ric Flair in the ring, like legitimately, the guy could barely move.
That was so bad. When TNA was ripping off WWE constantly in the early 2010s, and
oh my God,
they always mentioned WWE, and it just constantly ripping off WWE. Then they tried to compete with Raw and Monday Night Wars in 2010, and it failed big time.
Yeah, they had AJ Styles as rip off Ric Flair. Yeah, like Ric Flair, like he could barely fucking move. He would legitimately suffer heart attacks in the middle of a match.
Yeah, they had this Fortune group in TNA. I liked the Fortune group in TNA, but it was a ripoff of the Four Horsemen. I liked the group, but it was a ripoff of the Four Horsemen.
Like,
when you had
who
Kazarian, AJ Styles. I think you had Bobby Roode and James Storm of Beer Money in there as well.
Yeah,
I liked the group. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it was a ripoff for the Four Horsemen from WCW.
Who else? Who was wrestling? Who else was wrestling at the same time as like?
You had Immortal in the group. Remember Immortal?
Oh my God.
Jeff Hardy as the heel, which did not work at all.
Oh, awful. This was disastrous.
You had Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Hulk Hogan too. Hulk Hogan. He was competing also in TNA, and he couldn't take a bump to save his life.
This was Hulk Hogan in TNA in this time there.
Yeah, yeah. That TNA music.
He always had to hog spot like it's like oh, this happened just because of me, brother. Oh, this TNA original wins the world title after winning the X Division title because it's all about me, brother. And I know, Chris Sabin, you're the world champ, but it's all about me, brother. Austin Aries, I know you're the champ, but it's about me, brother. Yeah. Oh, James Storm, I know you're the champion, but it's about me, brother. I'm the face of TNA, brother. Dixie Carter says I'm the face of TNA, brother.
Yeah, you had the Hulk Hogan wrestling in TNA. He could legitimately, he couldn't even run the ropes.
No, he couldn't even hit the ropes.
Big Show and his bag knees.
No, Big Show was never in TNA.
Yeah, no, Big Show was not in TNA, obviously, but he was in WWE at the same time as AJ. Like Big Show, look at his fucking knees.
In the 2010s, his knees were starting to become like jello. He could barely move anymore like he used to. Like his knees were just
shot. He could barely move. He couldn't move. He couldn't run. He couldn't bump. Same thing with Kane.
Yeah,
you see the last time Kane was in the ring?
Yeah.
Just look at all these legends.
He was fat and out of shape. He could barely bump in there. Same thing with Mark Henry before he retired.
Like, just look at all these legends that No, and they were like styles, but at their age, like they couldn't wrestle anymore. They couldn't wrestle as much as they used to. Like it was sad just watching them.
It was.
Like AJ, yeah, he could still go, but I'm sure like he's seen all of these guys that he worked with, or at least shared a locker room with. Like he's seen how sad, their careers ended. All right, well, the Undertaker went out on the high with Boneyard match, but but before that, it was just sad watching him. But and I could see, AJ, I can fault him for wanting to retire on his own and still being able to retire while being able to have good matches. I can't fault him for it. If anything, that's what any athlete in any profession should want. That lasting memory of them. Wanting their lasting memory, the fans, think of them as the guys, who were great at what they did. They create countless moments, great memories, and they went out on a high. That's what they want the fans to remember them as. They're the last image of them in their profession. Not some old has-beens who hung on there for too long. And it got to a point where it was just sad watching them.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fault AJ. If anything, I respect him for making that decision. Selfishly, I would have loved to have seen him continue. I would have loved to have seen a retirement tour from him this year where he wrestles all around the world. He wrestles in AEW. He has one. He retires. He ends his career in TNA, and he could have still returned to WWE. But if he wants to retire in WWE,
or wrestling Kenny Omega All In, which would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, or have a match with Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
Swerve or these guys like that. But if he wants to retire now, I can't fault the guy. I can't fault him. He retired the best way he wanted to. He went out on his own terms.
Yes, it should have been, and not on Saudi soil, but on American soil at WrestleMania. It felt like proper, but that's the way AJ wanted to go out. I can't fault him for that.
And he and by the man's own mouth, by the man's, I think there was a report recently, that some people close to AJ, they knew that, if AEW wanted to make an offer, it'd be very substantial. But an offer that, which, the offer, it wouldn't force AJ to be away from his family. I don't know if it would have been, a wrestler contract. Maybe he has one match, but maybe work backstage mostly, and he gets to work and he gets to be with his family. So I mean, people close to AJ I'm sure Tony would have spoken to him and been respectful to him and given AJ whatever the hell he wanted. But at the same time, AJ, he's already said it for years now. And this is the part where fans, well, mostly Secos. Well, this is the part where fans don't understand. Like, for years now, like what, the better part of 3 years, 2 years, AJ's already said that he wants to retire in WWE. He's talked about, he wants to work backstage. He wants to be a scout for the company. Wants to be a coach at the Performance Center. He wants to end his career there.
And I think AJ's son I think he said something about AJ Styles' son maybe wanting to wrestle.
Yeah, and he wants to see his son. He wants to train his son if he ever becomes a wrestler, and he wants to see his son in WWE. Like, if that's the guy wants to respect it. If he wants to retire in WWE, guess what? I respect him for it. I can't fault him.
You don't have to. I mean, I don't have to like it. No one has to like it, but at least respect him for that.
Yeah, respect him.
I mean, would I love to see him in AEW for even if it was a year against Kenny Omega All-In? Would I have loved to see that? Absolutely, yes. Hell yeah. But if this was AJ's decision, I got to respect him for that.
Yeah. And if he wants to continue working.
If this is truly AJ Styles' decision and nobody else's decision, not WWE telling him to say this, and this is coming from AJ independently, then I got to respect him for that. If that is truly the case.
Yeah, and if AJ wants to keep working for WWE, guess what? He should. He has the right to. And Hunter and TK, and I would say TKO, yeah, as much as, we may not like them, like, everyone in that company, they see how valuable AJ Styles is. Any promotion would want a guy like an AJ Styles to help out their younger talents behind the scenes. There's more to him, than just, in ring. The guy is valuable. It can be valuable in different areas in a company. And I'm sure, and Hunter, he respects AJ. Everyone in that company, they respect AJ. So, of course, they would want him there. And they should want him there.
They'd be foolish not to. They'd be fools not to want him there.
Exactly.
And I think AJ Styles, and they had a tribute for him on Raw this past Monday in Atlanta, which was not a good show, by the way. Worst Raw of this year. But I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of that, worst Raw of this year. But outside of that, AJ Styles tribute on Raw and AJ Styles retirement speech on Raw in his hometown in Atlanta, WWE could not have done this any better. It was beautiful. And Undertaker coming out saying AJ Styles is in this year's Hall of Fame with Stephanie McMahon, with the Hall of Fame class of 2026. I don't know how you feel. I think WWE, the way they did this, I think they did a very good job with this AJ Styles thing. With the tribute, the music, and the video packages highlighting AJ's career throughout all the years, and then the roster, people from Raw and from SmackDown coming up on the front of the stage and clapping, thank you, AJ. And AJ Styles talking about, with his family and all the great success he's had in wrestling. And his wife, Wendy, was there. His kids were there. Just to let Samoa Joe in and say, oh, Wendy.
Yeah, just don't let him know about it.
And having
or else he may go to the house
and ring the doorbell and say, Daddy's home. And Samoa Joe telling Wendy, look, Wendy, I made you a promise that Daddy was coming home, but sadly looks like AJ's not. But don't worry, Wendy, I'll be your new daddy. That was SummerSlam 2018 in Brooklyn. I was there live, man. That was... Joe was a fucking beast back then.
This is the real reason. AJ.
Love Samoa Joe. He absolutely should have won the WWE title in 2018. No questions asked.
This is why Samoa Joe. This is why AJ Styles retired, so he can check over his house to make sure that Samoa Joe doesn't invade.
Though AJ did shout out Samoa Joe in this
Yeah, this is
promo.
why he retired.
He did shout out Samoa Joe in this promo. I think he did with Kazarian and Daniels and others as well.
They were an integral part of his career. I mean, you can't mention AJ without them. You can't think of AJ without thinking of Samoa Joe and Chris Daniels and Kazarian. Like, Abyss was there.
And Abyss.
Chris Park. Yeah. Abyss, he had some of his best matches with AJ Styles.
And TNA, Kurt Angle as well. AJ's wrestled Jeff Hardy and RVD in TNA, Mr. Anderson, aka Mr. Kennedy. He's wrestled Petey Williams as well, Douglas Williams in TNA, and those in the X division like Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, wrestled other greats in TNA as well. So and I think and others like mentioned Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles TNA history with Bully Ray as well, with the Aces and Eights and Devon and Jeff Jarrett, etc., etc. But I mean, the way that WWE did the tribute to AJ on Raw was beautiful. I don't think WWE could have done it any better. And I think they did a very good job on AJ Styles' tribute in his hometown in Atlanta at the end of the day.
It was great. And the announcement, with the Hall of Fame.
And Undertaker, like all the crap, the wrestlers in the locker room and Triple H and others from the crowd. Well, not from the crowd. They were on the stage doing the thank you, AJ. Then the lights went out. Undertaker, as American Badass, comes out. And was I the only one that thought, oh, Undertaker's going to come out of retirement or he's going to turn heel attack AJ?
Hey, please, though. The man had heart surgery last year. It we stated this well before the Boneyard match. It was the Undertaker could barely fucking walk in that ring. Like, do we really need to see 60-year-old Mark Calloway
and the way Taker went out in 2020 in the Boneyard match? You could not have done that any better, too. That was a perfect way for him to go out. Yeah, it was during the pandemic, but they did the best but under the circumstances and the world being shut down with the COVID-19 pandemic, they did the Undertaker and AJ Styles did the best they could with what they were given, and it was great.
It was a perfect way to end. It was a perfect way to retire. Please, Mark Calloway.
And it main evented WrestleMania 36, and that main evented WrestleMania 36 night 1 too.
Yeah, AJ. Yeah, he main evented Mania against the Undertaker.
And so did Gallows and Anderson.
Don't tarnish it.
And so did Gallows and Anderson, by the way, and they were there at the show too.
Yeah, don't tarnish it. If you hear this, Mark Calloway, please don't tarnish it. You went out the way you wanted. Then
he said, AJ Styles, it's time. And I thought, he's going to attack AJ or something. Then he's like, AJ, you're going in the Hall of Fame. And I heard AJ knew nothing about this. He was genuinely shocked. He was really happy. It was a genuine surprise, and I love something like that.
Yeah, I actually like how the Undertaker, he was the dead man. He put people in their final resting place.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's put them in their final resting place, and now years later, he's a retired veteran, and he's putting instead of putting people their resting places in caskets, he's instead putting people in their final resting place, in which is inducted them into the Hall of Fame, as the way to immortalize them, immortalizing their careers and their legacies. I actually quite like that.
Yeah. And AJ, his look on his face looked genuinely surprised. He absolutely knew nothing about this. He was genuinely very surprised with a smile on his face. And I'm very happy for AJ. Could not be more happy for him, honestly.
Yeah, he went out the way he wanted. Went on his own terms.
Spend more time with his family. If that's what he wants, I got to respect him for that. And I think he'd make a great coach at the Performance Center. If his son wants to wrestle, I'd love to see it. Carry on the AJ Styles legacy in WWE, I would not mind that at all. And if he wants to be a coach, who knows? Maybe we get him on the creative team. Like I said, people like Undertaker should be on the creative team and they should be surrounding Triple H instead of Bruce Pritchard and Ed Koskey and Road Dogg and Michael Hayes, who are nothing but fucking rats who should be exterminated. Have people like Undertaker and maybe AJ Styles on there. If anything, I feel like there should be more wrestling minds, and especially on the board where Ari and Shapiro know fuck all about wrestling. Dwayne Johnson, he cares more about his movies than he does wrestling. And I'm going to say this as a shoot, and you can clip it right here. The Rock needs WWE. WWE does not need The Rock. The only reason Rock's in WWE and on the board was because Black Adam fucking bombed. Because The Rock is not that Hollywood star that he once was. And more people outside of movie critics are starting to wake up on that and are starting to call Rock out on his fucking bullshit in his shitty Hollywood movies. Point blank. You can clip it right fucking here. Rock does not, WWE does not need Rock. WWE's better off without Rock. Rock needs WWE and the money because his movies are fucking failing miserably. And The Rock is not that Hollywood star that he was many, many years ago.
He isn't. He isn't.
Black Adam fucking failed big time.
Like Hunter, this is what he needs. He needs to be surrounded by people who actually know what they're doing. People like Undertaker, people like AJ Styles, people like CM Punk. Guys
Cody
like that.
Rhodes. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes.
Seth Rollins.
Which, speaking of Cody, he was on ESPN interview a day ago. He said that him, Punk, Roman, Bailey, and Seth are front runners to possibly take over WWE and creative when Triple H can't do it anymore. Now,
we may as well
probably, right now I would probably Rock and Gerwix, which I hope not, but probably years from now, I could see Cody with the EVP and AEW experience. I could see Cody run creative.
We may as well actually talk about it right now. Cody, he says that the next WWE contract will be his last contract.
Yes.
And honestly, I think he's where he's at.
And before anyone says, "Oh, he's going to leave to go back to AEW," pump the brakes on that. I don't see him leaving for AEW again.
Honestly, he's in the spot he's always wanted. Honestly, his whole career. We know from the moment he was in OVW, this is the spot he's always wanted. He's always wanted to be a main eventer. He's always wanted to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't happen under Vince McMahon because he gave him fucking Stardust.
Oh my god!
What a fucking disaster that.
Trash fucking character. Trash.
Yeah. Talk about career killing character. That killed his first run, Stone Dead.
At that point, he knew he had to leave.
Yeah, he had to start off the AEW. He had to go in the indies and start his own company to wash the stink of that character.
And he bet on himself and made himself into a star, and then Vince brought him back, and he even went to Cody's house to bring him back. This is a true story, by the way.
Yeah, I think Cody. I think he revealed it on his documentary, the American Nightmare documentary.
Yeah, Vince McMahon legit came to Cody Rhodes' house to get him back, and he came back.
Yeah, he's in the spot right now where he's always been in. And honestly, I think he'll end his career in WWE. I think I could see a future where he ends up. I think I could see a future where it's where guys like him, guys like Bailey and Seth, Punk and AJ. I could see them running creative.
Roman,
I could see them one of the best coaches in the performance.
And Roman as well. Roman, Seth, Bailey, Punk, Cody, AJ. I mean, locker room leaders, all of them.
Yeah, I could see Punk running NXT. I could see Cody running.
Shawn Michaels is in his 60s. He's not young anymore. When he's ready to hang it up as a booker of NXT, I could see Michaels passing along to Punk, and Punk has been working with him since Punk has been back. Yeah,
and Bailey, she had her free training back in December. She's gonna do another one in Vegas. I could see her as a PC coach, her and Natalia, or Nat.
And Bailey, I can see as a lifer in WWE as well. There's a reason she's stuck around. I think she's a lifer. If she is as a booker for the women, I'd love to see it. And she is one of those people, if not in the top two, she's probably the number one female that is advocated for better for women, for the women's division is Bailey. Always has been since day one.
Seth Rollins, he's on every show. He watches the show from start to end, even if he's not on television.
Seth may have an ego and may be ruthless, but he does have a good mind for the business.
Yeah, guys like that, these are the guys. Honestly, these are the guys that Hunter should be surrounding himself with. Like, why not groom guys like
Roman Reigns? And Roman Reigns also not the guy. And Roman Reigns also not a guy that's just in it for himself. He's also a locker room leader as well. I could see that.
Like I know we were saying 10 years from now, 20 years from now, like, why not groom these guys now? Now, guys like Rollins, guys like Bailey, when they retire soon, why not groom them now to when they eventually have those positions? People like Cody.
And I think they would be people that will be against the machine, against TKO, Ari and Shapiro and Rock. And I feel like Triple H can't. Maybe Triple H is, I don't know if I want to call him a coward. I don't know if he's too afraid because he doesn't want to lose a job, because I don't know if he has much of a say to tell TKO and Ari, Rock, and Shapiro no. But I feel like especially Cody could argue them. I think this is just me. This is just coming from my mouth. I don't know how you feel. This is just my personal opinion. But Triple H is current head of creative. He's not going to be. He's not young anymore, like he was. I
think he's gonna have to take a step back at some point.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah,
But with Cody Rhodes' contract being his last and his next one being his last, I don't think he's leaving for AEW again. If anything, I think he starts to transition at some point into more like Triple H's role, like running with creative or something like that.
Yeah, I could see him competing for at least another 10 years. And then he becomes a full-on. Then he becomes a full-time member of the creative team.
CM Punk, I could retire in the next at most 5 years. CM Punk and run NXT. I could see that.
So overall, I think with Cody, I think he will resign. I think he can wrestle for another 10 years. He can wrestle till he's at least 50, as long as there's no injuries and no health problems that may force him to retirement. So I think guys like him, Cody, and AJ Styles, I think they run WWE.
Especially Cody and Punk, and maybe add Seth and Roman and Bayley in there. Those are my top 5. I mean, AJ would not be. Undertaker, I would love to see on the creative team. I think he has also. Yeah, I think Undertaker also has a great mind for the business too, and he's respected by everybody. I mean, Ari, Rock, and Shapiro are on the board, but I don't think they respect Hunter. But with Undertaker, however, I do think Ari, Rock, and Shapiro. I think, however, they do respect Undertaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they would respect Cody too, I think, and Punk.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. But whenever Cody, Punk, Bayley, Seth Roman retire, I mean, Cody and Punk especially, I could see. Yeah. Possibly running creative in WWE. Punk with NXT, Cody in the main roster whenever Cody and Punk can't wrestle anymore and they're done with in-ring aspect of pro wrestling. Like CM Punk runs NXT, has full control NXT. He doesn't now, but when Shawn Michaels is ready to give it up, he hands the reins to CM Punk. I would love to see that. And I feel like if CM Punk were to run NXT, actually, NXT, I'm telling you, would be a lot better than what it is right now. So much better. Honestly. And Cody Rhodes, I mean, he does have that EVP experience when he was executive vice president, when he was with AEW. If anything, I think Cody Rhodes was AEW. And I feel like when Cody was there, like AEW was great between 2019 and 2021. And then when Cody Rhodes left in 2022, I think that was a big blow to them. And I think some of the downfall AEW started in 2022 as soon as Cody Rhodes left the company. And that's how I genuinely feel about that. I don't know how you feel about that, dude.
I would agree. I mean, they got some of those veterans. They got some of those guys like Omega
during
and Joe.
The pandemic, when Cody was pretty much the face of AEW during the pandemic.
I mean, they got guys like Omega and Joe.
AEW was so good in 2019 and 2020 and 2021. I think a lot of that had to do with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I could see that. I agree. I mean, they got guys like Omega and Joe, like guys like that who are leaders. I could see them, running AEW behind the scenes. I mean, Omega's already an EVP, and I could see Joe maybe an EVP, but losing Cody, it definitely took away from them and the original vision that they had.
Even when CM Punk ran Collision, it was watchable and actually good when he was there, and then when he left, Collision went to dog shit.
Yeah, it basically became like main event.
Or Rampage 4.0.
Yeah.
But CM Punk But CM Punk run NXT, I would love that.
Yeah. I could see that. I mean, we could actually be looking at a universe, actually, where you got guys, like Punk, Cody, Bayley, Rollins, AJ. They're running WWE, and then on the other company, AEW guys like Omega, guys like Samoa Joe, guys like Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. They're running AEW.
Yeah.
Adam Cole, maybe, if he wants to transition backstage. I mean, I would like to see him back in the ring, and hopefully he's back in the ring soon. But, maybe he can transition backstage one day. Him, Roderick Strong, guys like that will have a good mind for the business.
Yeah. So we'll
So
see what happens.
so
But
yeah, in
they're
terms of
wrestling for
with
now.
the WWE side, I know we've talked about AEW obviously a lot here. Not much, but a lot. But in terms of overall on the WWE side with AJ, yeah, I think AJ, yeah, he's fully done. He's 100% done, and he and WWE, they're very fortunate to have AJ Styles in that company. And if
I
he wants to
agree.
continue there, respect him. He went out the way he wanted. Him and Cody, running things. Whether it's on the creative team, being performance center coaches. The future of the industry with guys like that, helping those young guys. It's in pretty good hands.
And if anything, that's what they need is more wrestling minds.
Yeah.
To really step up to TKO and Endeavor and really argue them also. Honestly, when you have rats on the creative team, it doesn't work. Like Bruce, Dog, Koski, Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard, Ed Koski, and Road Dogg, it doesn't help or work at all. And I feel like with Cody, as some kind of like running with creative, I feel like Cody would be a guy that would sit there and argue Rock and argue Ari and argue Shapiro. And Cody's even pushed for house shows to come back too. So if anything, Cody knows what's best. He would not just sit there and just yes to death. He would just sit there and argue and things don't make sense. Same thing with Punk. You do the same thing. He would do the same exact thing. Like if something is not right, he's like, look, I don't know if that's a good idea. I think we should do something else instead. Let's not do this. It's not going to work because of this.
How much you bet that the TKO's and Rock's egos will be bruised if somebody stood up to them?
Well, they've been bruised before by Cody when Cody told Rock to go fuck him. Well, Cody told Rock to go fuck himself a year ago.
Yeah, how much their ego will be bruised?
Yeah. But
oh yeah.
But AJ Styles pretty much done at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we were meant to talk about. I know the Cody subject. I know we were meant to talk about him differently, but it kind of links with AJ Styles. In terms of what they want for their careers and how they want to go out and discussing their future.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see Punk retire in the next at most 5 years. Cody, however long he wants to wrestle, he's 40 now, but
yeah, he could wrestle till he's at least 50.
I could probably see that. I could see that, but that's our take on the AJ Styles situation. He is done. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. You think AJ wrestles next year? Does he not? Or is he done completely for good? Let us know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. And then the co-main event with this episode, right before we talk about Elimination Chamber people predictions in the build and such, Vince McMahon was apparently in a recent car crash. Now, this car crash took place the day Hulk Hogan died last summer. Well, going 110 miles an hour. And Mitch texted me this a day ago, reacting to Vince McMahon's shocking car crash. Now, there was footage of this, mind you. And this was in Connecticut. And Vince was going 110 miles an hour, completely totaled the Bentley. Now, Vince doesn't give a shit because he's a rich motherfucker. But I mean, he completely totaled the Bentley car, big time. And like this man, Vince McMahon, he's lucky. I mean, we don't like the guy because he tarnished his legacy 2 years ago with the Janelle Grant stuff and stuff like that. Maybe a great promoter, but terrible human being. But honestly, if you ask me, he's lucky to still be alive. And the day Hulk Hogan died, we could have lost Hogan and Vince the same day Hulk Hogan died a year ago last summer. If you know what I'm saying. Like, this man was going 110. Vince McMahon was going 110 miles an hour, something like that. He's speeding and totals his car. And this was the day Hulk Hogan passed away. I'm very sure Vince heard the news of Hogan passing away last July. Then afterwards, I'm pretty sure when Vince was driving recklessly and speeding and totaling his car, I'm very sure Vince, after he heard the news and this crash happened after the Hogan death news, and Vince heard about this, and then I think Vince just lost control. And I feel like when Vince found out the news Hogan died, I honestly feel Vince just snapped. He lost control and he fucking snapped. Where it's like Hogan and Vince, they go way back to the 80s in wrestling in WWF days. They were like this, man. They were like this. And I feel like when Hogan died, I felt like Vince just lost control, and plain and simple, the man just snapped. He snapped. Almost similar. And I could probably compare this to when Eddie Guerrero passed away in November 2005, and how Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero were close like this. And then Eddie died. And then when Eddie passed away, this really affected Chris Benoit so much. It affected Chris so much. And I honestly feel, now, I'm not excusing the murders that Chris did to Nancy and Daniel at all. What he did was unforgivable. But I really genuinely feel Chris Benoit's fate was sealed the day that Eddie Guerrero passed away. I don't know how you feel.
It's almost eerie in a way. You know, how it just all happened on the same night. Like, you know, we hear Hogan passing away, which I'm still shocked, which I'm honestly, even a year later, I'm still shocked by. It just doesn't feel real. Honestly, I could honestly say
he wasn't that old when he died too, and it's like he would be the last person you'd think would pass away.
Now, honestly, I think something like that happened. Honestly, I think, you know, with Vince, you know, he's driving, you know, 100 miles an hour. I think he heard the passing of Hogan, and he just fucking snapped. Like his jaw dropped, and he almost killed himself. I know it wasn't his intention to kill himself, but it's like he legit, you know, he drove this hard, this recklessly, because he was in a bad state of mind when he heard of Hogan's death. Because they were like family. Like, you know, say what you will about them beings, but you know, there's no Hogan without Vince, and there's no Vince without Hogan. And to lose somebody like that you were this close to, who made you a lot of money, and you made him a lot of money too, and they put the WWE, WWF on the map. It's like losing a family member
or a spouse or something.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you don't know how to handle it.
And I could easily, and like I said, you could easily, I mean, I could definitely compare this to when Eddie Guerrero passed away in 2005 and how much it affected Chris Benoit, because Chris and Eddie were like this close. It's like more than friends, like a big brotherhood. Like they were just a big time caring relationship. And then you hear if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, Eddie Guerrero, when he passed away in the hotel in Minneapolis, and then he died in Chavo Guerrero's arms, that Eddie was trying to fight, stay in, and then he passed in right in Chavo's arms. This was towards the middle of November of 2005. I think it was a Raw Super Show in Minneapolis, and Chavo, Eddie, and Chris were gonna work out together. Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Chavo Guerrero all working out together in a hotel the weekend in Minneapolis, going into Raw Super Show in Minneapolis in mid-November 2005, and Eddie passed right in Chavo's arms.
Yeah, and that was the night, I believe, if I remember. This was the night that Eddie was supposed to have won the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and Batista was the World Heavyweight Champion at the time on SmackDown in late 2005. I think it was going to be on SmackDown, a triple threat. It was November of 2005 on episode of SmackDown, triple threat for the world title, then World Heavyweight Champion Batista versus Randy Orton versus Eddie Guerrero, and I think Eddie was going to win the title.
Yeah.
And Eddie had just turned face again after his No Mercy 05 match with Batista in Texas. Batista retained the world title, and then Eddie turned face again. And then he was going to win the world title soon after. And I think if Eddie had not passed away, it was going to be Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago in 2006 for the world title, I think. And man, what a classic that would have been had Eddie not passed away.
Yeah, but yeah.
And then Chavo told Chris Benoit that Eddie passed away, and Benoit just lost it. And you see the Eddie tribute show that Chris was saying goodbye to Eddie, and Chris just lost control, was just crying his eyes out. He just totally lost it.
Like nothing could have saved
him so much.
Like nothing could have saved him by that point. Not his
I
family, not his kids, not his best friends. Like nothing could have gotten him in the right state of mind after that. Now, what he did was unforgivable. At the end of the day, killing his family and killing his son, inexcusable. Fuck Chris Benoit, now and forever.
Yeah, you can praise him
But,
as a wrestler. Now, I'm not afraid to. Now, I don't like mentioning Chris Benoit's name much here at all. At the same time, I'm kind of not afraid to mention because I can differentiate the human from the wrestler. Chris Benoit, the wrestler, was one of the greatest of all time to put on a pair of boots. But as a human, he was a monster and a devil with what he did to Nancy and Daniel. What he did was unforgivable with what he fucking did. Fuck him. You know, to kill your wife's not okay, but to give your 7-year-old son Xanax before strangling and killing him, that's where I draw the fucking line. As a wrestler, though, I can praise him for what he did in the ring, but that's where it stops. What he did, what was fucking evil. It was monstrous with what he did. And no one should be defending him for what he did to his family. It was unforgivable. Like, he took the lives of 2 people had no reason to die before taking his own like a coward. Fuck him. Fuck Chris Benoit. But I genuinely feel Chris's fate was sealed. Chris Benoit's fate was sealed the day Eddie Guerrero passed away. And I think it's like, even if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, Vicky Guerrero on that episode, one of the episodes of Dark Side of the Ring was saying that, it's like Chris Benoit had told her personally, it's like, I can't do this if Eddie's not here with me.
Yeah, like he was lost without Eddie being there. I think he was in Eddie's gym. He went, he was visiting the Guerreros at a time, especially after Eddie passed. And then, he was sitting on the bench, like at the bench, gym bench, just crying, his eyes out.
And then he lost a couple more friends. But I think especially after he especially after Eddie passed away, Chris Benoit then started annihilating his friends and family, didn't want to be around people anymore. He was starting to get really grumpy and angry all the time, and he just snapped. And eventually he snapped. And he continued to stay with the WWE and wrestling, continued to wrestle because he didn't know what else to do. And I feel like he should have left the WWE and wrestling, like, overall, because of Eddie dying, and he should have left it altogether because he was so. I think Sandra Toffoli, Nancy Benoit's sister, even said on Dark Side of the Ring that Chris was so grief-stricken on a monumental level, and that staying with the WWE and the wrestling would have harmed him more so than ever, and that's exactly what happened. And you saw what happened in late June of 2007, the double murder-suicide incident. He killed his wife, Nancy, then killed his 7-year-old little son, Daniel, and then hung himself and committed suicide. And
now,
I don't
thankfully,
know.
In this case with Vince, and then driving, thank God nobody was killed. Nobody was in the car with him. It's like, it's just eerie, how things just happen. We hear Hogan passing away, and then Vince, Vince driving the car, 100 miles per hour, and he crashes his car and almost killing himself. Just very, very eerie.
Yeah. We could have lost Hogan and Vince the same day. And as much as we don't like Vince McMahon, he's lucky to still be alive because he could have died last year, the same day Hogan died. And I think after Hogan passed, Vince just lost control and snapped. Like this man is crazy to go 110 miles an hour. It's in Connecticut. He's driving 110 miles an hour. At this point in his life, I don't think Vince should be driving anymore. I don't.
Like, he's 80 years old. That's what makes it like even more egregious. The way he drives. He's 80 years old.
Even Mitch even said when he texted me the reacting to Vince McMahon's shocking crash footage, I watched the video. He even said in the reaction video, it's like Vince at his age should stay off the wheel. He shouldn't be driving anymore. And I agree with him 100%. Man's 80 years old and he's senile.
Like I know the guy's a workaholic. Like, he has a great work ethic. He puts most of it to shame, but it's like you don't need to drive. Like, you can have others help you. And he's 80 years old. Like, who? Like, how many 80-year-olds out there that are driving Bentleys?
Not very many. Not very many, man. Not very many at all. And I feel like it's time for him to stay off the wheel. I mean, with him driving this recklessly, he could have killed himself or someone. Not just himself, he could have killed somebody else.
Like I think his car, like it hit another car. It wasn't
Yeah.
like the front, but it hit. He was driving 100 miles an hour, like he hit the back of somebody else's car, and you seen the damage that it did to that person's car.
Completely
Not just Vince's car.
did a lot of damage to the other person's car, but did most damage to his car. Completely totaled his own Bentley. Completely totaled his own Bentley. Now, Vince may not give a shit because he has all this money, but I mean, still, he put himself and others in danger. You know? It just reckless fucking driving, man. I mean, I don't know how this guy survived, 80 years old, surviving this car crash, this car accident, but again, he's lucky to still be alive and breathing because he could have passed. He could have passed away and could have not been so lucky, but he got so fucking lucky here.
He's lucky he never got he wasn't injured, let alone dead. He's lucky he didn't even get injured.
Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't end up on a wheelchair.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the news on Vince McMahon and the car crash footage. We won't show the video here because don't want to take a risk of copyright, but with Vince McMahon, 80 years old, should not be fucking driving, is all I will say. He needs to stay off the fucking road. I mean, I understand, like, because he doesn't know what to do with himself, but I mean, with incidents like this, if he continues driving, at some point he's going to kill someone. And that's going to be even worse. Or himself.
Exactly.
Honest to God, Vince should give up the driving. That's just my opinion on that. I don't know. What do you feel about that, bro?
I think the same way.
Yeah. But
I actually have to get out of here right now. I have to get out early.
Okay.
I have to get out early because I got something to do.
All right. So
I'll be watching the preview and predictions for the chamber. I'm gonna be watching those predictions.
All right. So
I might actually have to watch the show because we're live. I might actually have to give my predictions in the comment section.
Okay. Not a problem, man. But if we find a media asset with the thing, might as well, if there's no, I don't see it, but anyways, no problems, man. Before we get to that and stuff like that, take a little break here, but see you with the preview predictions in the comments, but no worries, man. Hope and no issue at all. You take care, man, and we'll see you next time for episode 15, whether it's Thursday or Saturday next week, stuff like that. And you may see me on the watch party with the Hardcore Sports Network and Mitch for the watch party for the Chamber this Saturday. No blockage here. They're blocking watch parties in Chicago for the Chamber. Not here, guys. So you can block watch parties in Chicago, but you can't block Mitch's watch party. So facts on that. So see you next week, man.
Yeah, see you for episode 15.
Yep, no worries, man. If you got something to do, no worries. So catch you next week, man. Talk to you later. So no worries on that at all. But before we begin our preview and predictions for the Chamber, take a little break here. The water drink. And I wish I had other media assets here about like over the top of podcasts. Oh, hot takes and headlocks. Nah, we won't do that. But we actually got a little, and I seen a little comment here. I'm new to the chat. Peter Van Way. What's up? What's up, man? Hit the like on the video if you're not done so already, and subscribe to FioriousNation as well. Which, yeah, speaking of which, as we take a little break here, hit the like on the video. If you're just starting to watch this, I know live for 2.5 hours at least, but if you're just now starting, for those just now starting to watch this, hit the like on the video. It would greatly help a lot in the YouTube algorithm, and it would help the channel so much. So it'd be greatly appreciated. Hit the like and subscribe to Fiorious Nation if you haven't done so already. So, and hit the bell for all notifications as well when you do subscribe to Fiorious Nation, all that good stuff. And all that good stuff. Brief little break, yes. So now let's get to the nitty-gritty, the main event talk of this episode 14. Elimination Chamber preview and predictions here on the channel. 4 matches on the show and 1 storyline with the crate. Who's in the crate? Who's in the crate? Now, I did hear rumors and reports. Apparently, Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp saying that according to betting odds that Danhausen is in the crate and not Chris Jericho, as Jericho's AEW contract is frozen. How true that is, we'll see. But Danhausen, apparently there is something that his contract with AEW is running out around February sometime. So it could be Danhausen. I don't know. I mean, I could probably see it being Danhausen. It would probably be disappointing. But, I mean, I think he could probably do well in WWE with selling the merch that he probably sell some nice merch there. But I think it'd be a letdown if it was Danhausen. Chris Jericho, I think, would make sense. I would love to see it, but I don't think so. If it happens, I would not hate it. So we'll see. But according to betting odds, it's Danhausen is the favorite to be in the crate. Who knows what's in the crate? It could be Danhausen, could be Chris Jericho, could be whoever, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But if you want to get my opinion of who's in the crate, I think it could very well be Danhausen, especially if it is the fact that Jericho's AEW deal is frozen. We may not see Chris Jericho back in WWE until like at Mania, or maybe the Raw after Mania, maybe sometime at Mania, maybe sometime later this year, maybe going to SummerSlam or at SummerSlam. Now that's 2 nights, who knows? But I think either way, do I think Chris Jericho comes back to WWE still this year? Yes. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But do I think Chris Jericho's in the crate? According to the rumors of Jericho's AEW contract frozen, probably not. Probably not. Jericho in the crate. Probably not. I think it's going to be Danhausen. That's going to be revealed from in the crate. So that's just my take on who's in the crate. Corny, but I do think it's Danhausen. The other, and then the rest of the show, there's 4 matches on the Elimination Chamber taking place at the United Center in Chicago. We got 4 matches. Might as well talk about the first match of the 4. CM Punk, Finn Balor, World Heavyweight Championship match. Predictable, and I'm going CM Punk winning. Finn Balor, there's not much of a chance at all Finn Balor wins. I know some people think about, what about Finn Balor wins and he throws a wrench in the system and we get Balor versus Punk versus Roman, a triple threat at WrestleMania for the world title. Not going to happen. Sorry, not going to happen. It's going to be Punk and Roman 1-on-1 at WrestleMania for the world title. But it's not about Balor winning the championship. It's about Finn Balor, with the story of Finn Balor being kicked out of the Judgment Day. Balor and Punk should be good. It's going to be predictable, yes, with Punk coming out the winner of the match and retaining the world title. But I think this is the start where Balor is officially out of the Judgment Day. I'm going CM Punk retaining the world title. He beats Finn Balor 2nd time. And I think after the match, they do something where Balor and Punk show respect for one another. And Dominic doesn't like this. And I think either at the Chamber or following the Chamber, I think is when we see Balor finally kicked out of Judgment Day. Dominic attacks Balor and kicks Balor out of the group. But I would hope for the Chamber, Punk retains, and then Balor's kicked out of Judgment Day after the match. They may do it after the Chamber, but we'll see, because Dominic is supposed to wrestle Penta for the IC title this Monday on Raw. Maybe they turn Balor face and kick him out of the Judgment Day. Maybe after Chamber, after the Raw to the Chamber. We'll see. But I'm predicting CM Punk retaining the world title, going into WrestleMania 42 as the World Heavyweight Champion, and we get Balor out of the Judgment Day after Punk retains, Balor's out of Judgment Day. Or maybe they run an angle where Punk retains, Balor and Punk shake hands as sign of respect, and Dominic comes out and he attacks Punk, Dominic, and then Balor saves Punk from Dominic and saves Punk from Dominic and McDonough, and that's where Balor turns face. But either way, Punk's retaining and Balor will be out of Judgment Day. It'll be very soon that Balor's out of Judgment Day. And I do think it leads to Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania with Balor winning the IC title. I think that's a direction Triple H is going to do. But I would say, but yeah, Punk retains and they do something with Balor out of the Judgment Day. That's what I think. And then the next the next match, Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, Intercontinental Women's IC title. The build for this has not been good, and their two promo battles with each other have not been good either. The second one's slightly better than the first one, but that's not saying much. I just don't think Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, I just don't think they work well together. With promo-wise, I don't think they work well together. I don't know how good of a match you're going to have in Chicago in the Chamber, but honestly, I would say like the Vision and Seth Rollins and LA Knight feud needs to end. Like Adam Carl said in this episode, that shit needs to end. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee feud also needs to end. But I think, but it's like if you end it at the Chamber, what else do you do with Becky Lynch and the women's IC title at Mania? There's not much for with that. So what I'm thinking now, I mean, it's probably not the best, but I mean, though it's not for long, I think AJ Lee wins the IC title here in Chicago, but Becky Lynch wins it back from AJ Lee, the women's IC title, at WrestleMania, and that's where they end the feud. And then AJ takes a break again, and we can move Becky Lynch on to something else on Raw with the women's IC title. That's what I feel. So I think we get a new Intercontinental Champion in AJ Lee on Saturday, and Becky regains it back at WrestleMania from AJ. I think that's a direction they go. I just hope their match is good at the Chamber because their promo battles have not been good. So I hope I'm proven wrong on that, but we'll see. But I'm going AJ Lee on the board to win the women's IC title. I think Becky drops the title to AJ at the Chamber, and Becky reclaims it at WrestleMania from AJ. I think that's what they do. The next match on the card, Women's Elimination Chamber match for a women's title match at WrestleMania 42. We got Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day. Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, and Kiana James from SmackDown, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Raquel Rodriguez from Monday Night Raw. I think this, now, the Women's Chamber last year was really good. I would expect the same thing here. Kiana James in this, since the Rumble, she's actually been stepping up. She had a pretty good performance in the Royal Rumble in Saudi, and she actually had a good match last week on SmackDown in Triple Threat with Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. And Kiana actually had a good performance, and she pinned Charlotte clean in a shocker. And I expected Charlotte Flair to retain, and I expected Charlotte Flair to qualify for the Chamber a week ago, but it was Kiana James in a shocker, and it was an unpredictable risk with Kiana James winning. And I was shocked by it, and I'm not mad at it. And if Kiana James was qualifying, if you ask me, I'm not mad at it. I expected Charlotte to qualify, but Kiana qualified. I'm not mad at it. And Kiana James can actually wrestle. She's one of those women that's not scared to bump or break a nail, and she can go in there and fucking wrestle. She can wrestle. And Kiana James in the Chamber, she won't win the Chamber. I expect her to have a good performance in the Chamber, but she won't win. So Kiana James is not winning. Raquel Rodriguez, I don't see winning because like Raquel's from Raw and Jade Cargill's from SmackDown, but because Jade and Raquel are both heels, who do you cheer for? And there's not and both ladies have nothing to do with each other. So Raquel Rodriguez is not winning. Asuka, no. Again, because Asuka and Jade Cargill are both heels. And Asuka and Jade Cargill, wrestled the Queen of the Ring finals, Night of Champions last year in Saudi. That match was not good, and I have no desire to see that match again because Jade Cargill just can't wrestle. So no, Asuka's not winning. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill again. Please hand me the fucking pillow on that one. Nobody wants to see that again. And since Stephanie Stratton's been back since the Royal Rumble in Saudi, she hasn't been factored much into, like, Tiffany Stratton has not been factored into much of anything important since coming out of the Rumble. And if Tiffany Stratton's off the Mania card, I mean, are you going to lose sleep over it? I won't. So Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, God help us all if that happens. I do not want to see Tiffany winning the Chamber. I don't want to see that at all. Because, and Tiffany and Jade have fought how many times now? We've been there, done that. So Tiffany Stratton winning the Chamber, that's a no for me. And then we got Rhea Ripley and then Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley, now this depends because Rhea Ripley and Io Sky tomorrow night on SmackDown in Louisville, Kentucky, the day before the Chamber, they defend their women's tag team titles against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Now, it depends on if Lash and Nia win the titles or not. If Lash and Nia don't win the titles, then I'm going Alexa Bliss to win the Chamber. Now, if Rhea and Io lose the titles, now it's either Alexa or Rhea. And who knows, maybe Rhea Ripley wins the Chamber. And we got Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the women's title. Now, Jade and Bianca is a big match you can do. But if Bianca's not ready to go for Mania, which she won't be, a good backup, I think, is Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. And I think Rhea could carry Jade to a good match, in my opinion, because Jade can't wrestle and can't dance on her own. And they've been teasing also Io and Sky and Julia as well. Maybe that's a direction for Mania. Honestly, Io and Rhea should not be in the tag team vortex at WrestleMania, especially their match of their kids last year with the triple threat with Bianca Belair a year ago at WrestleMania. But I don't want to see Rhea and Io versus the fucking Bella Twins. Nobody wants to see that. So if anything, if I'm booking this, I'm having Lash and Nia win the titles tomorrow. And you have Alexa or Rhea win the Chamber on Saturday. Now, if they drop the titles to Lash and Nia and Rhea wins the Chamber, I don't mind it. And if we get Rhea and Jade and Io and Julia at WrestleMania, I don't mind that whatsoever. But what do I think may happen? I think Alexa Bliss wins the Chamber. And we get Alexa Bliss and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the women's title. And maybe a factor Charlotte Flair in there somehow, maybe make it a triple threat. Or maybe Charlotte not wrestling on the show somehow factors into that match at WrestleMania. And Charlotte could accidentally cost Alexa the women's title at WrestleMania against Jade Cargill. Then that starts the split of Alexa and Charlotte. Then Alexa and Charlotte can feud coming out of WrestleMania on SmackDown where Alexa can turn on Charlotte. So that's probably what they do. So I'm going Alexa Bliss winning the Chamber on Saturday. I think Alexa Bliss wins the Chamber. And again, this all depends on what goes down with the women's tag title match tomorrow on SmackDown. If Nia and Lash don't win, then I see Alexa. But if Lash and Nia do win the championships from Io and Rhea, then it could go either Alexa or Rhea. Then it'd be going Rhea. Or maybe, or actually, you know what? I'm going to stick with Alexa Bliss because if Rhea and Io drop the titles, you do Rhea and Io at WrestleMania 101. That story, there's a story right there where Rhea's never beaten Io, and Rhea can finally beat, where Rhea Ripley's never ever beaten Io Sky, and Rhea could finally beat Io at WrestleMania this year. So I'm actually going Alexa Bliss winning the Chamber. So my pick is Alexa Bliss winning the women's Chamber. And then the last match of the show, and whether this main event or Punk and Balor main events, probably Punk and Balor main events because it's in Chicago. But if this match main events the men's Chamber, I would not mind it. And I don't think the crate main events the Chamber at all. I don't see that. But the men's Chamber match, we got Randy Orton from SmackDown, LA Knight from Raw, Cody Rhodes from SmackDown, Javon Evans from Raw, Trick Williams from SmackDown, and Jey Uso from Raw, or Yeet Man from Raw, as I would call him. Who, by the way, he was not supposed to be the last to qualify. It was supposed to be Bronson Reed. According to WrestleVotes, the Jey Uso, El Grande Americano, and Bronson Reed Elimination Chamber qualifying match from Raw this past Monday night, Bronson Reed was apparently supposed to go over according to WrestleVotes, but they had to change it to Jey Uso qualifying instead on the fly because of Bronson Reed's injury and bicep injury. So had Bronson Reed not got injured, he would have been in this chamber, no doubt about it. But we would not have had to worry about Jey Uso running it back in the chamber and doing the yeet on the pod in the chamber, which I am afraid we're going to see. And Lord help us so if we see that. I have a very bad feeling we're seeing that, and I will lose my shit if that happens, and not for the right reasons. I'm just throwing that out there. But Jey Uso, regardless in him in the chamber, he's not winning. I'm just throwing that out there again. Jey Uso stands no chance of winning the chamber. So Jey is not winning the chamber. Jey Uso's not winning the chamber. It's very nice to see Javon Evans and Trick Williams, though, two future pieces of the company for years and years to come. It's very nice that some futures in there with Javon Evans and Trick Williams. Trick Williams may be the most over wrestler, not just on SmackDown, but in the entire company as a whole today. I could absolutely see him be an MVP of this match. I really could. I mean, over as hell, so much charisma. He's a total package. He won't win it. I don't think Trick Williams wins it. But I do think he'll have a good showing in this match. He won't win, but I expect a good showing for Trick in the chamber. And I do see him passing very much so with flying colors. Same thing with Javon Evans. He's also, I don't see him winning either, though I'm very sure he'll have a good performance too in the match in the chamber, just like Trick Williams. And Randy Orton is also in the chamber as well. And Orton and Javon fought the first time, the second NXT on the CW in St. Louis, where they botched the midair RKO spot, something like that. But Orton and Javon are in the match. Maybe they try and recreate that here in the chamber. Who knows? But I like the fact Orton and Javon are both in this match too. But Jey Uso, as I said, is not winning. Trick Williams is going to have a good showing. He won't win. Javon Evans will have a good showing as well. He won't win. And I don't know if we see an OG cutter off the top of the pod, but either way, Javon Evans will have a good showing, but he won't win either. So then it's down to LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton. There are some people online saying, "Oh, LA Knight, he's not advertised for the Raw and MSG March 30th. He'll probably go back to SmackDown and win the chamber." Guys, pump the brakes, please. I know you love LA Knight, but I don't see LA Knight winning the chamber. I don't. And please know LA Knight and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That is a terrible, terrible fucking idea. Whoever came up with that idea in the back should be absolutely fucking fired on the spot. That is a horrendous idea. Neither man comes out looking good out of that match at Mania, coming out of Mania if that match happens. Nobody wants to see that. It needs to be Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, WrestleMania, one-on-one, point blank, period. LA Knight, Brock Lesnar is a horrendous fucking idea. Horrendous idea. Elba and Lesnar at Mania is the way to go. And we do Seth Rollins and LA Knight versus Logan Paul and Australia division at WrestleMania. Those are the ways to go about it. Not Brock Lesnar and LA Knight. And I'm telling you right now, LA Knight and Brock Lesnar do not, and I repeat, do not have that match at WrestleMania. Don't. Because I will go off on that if you do. Do not do that match. Don't. LA Knight in the Elimination Chamber, it would be unpredictable and a risk if he wins, but I don't see it happening. And LA Knight has nothing to do with Drew McIntyre much, so I don't see LA Knight winning the chamber. So it's either Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton. I like Cody Rhodes. I do. But I'm going Randy Orton winning the chamber. Now, Drew McIntyre has been fucking around with Jacob Fatu and has been screwing over Jacob Fatu. He cost Jacob Fatu the elimination qualifier against Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Then he tried screwing Cody over in the elimination chamber qualifier by trying to help Sami Zayn win, but McIntyre's plan backfired. And then Yeah, and then Randy Orton versus Aleister Black on SmackDown a week ago. McIntyre cost Orton the match with Aleister when McIntyre hit Orton in the head with the WWE title belt, and then Cody tried to chase McIntyre away. And then Cody's trying to go back to Orton to check on him, and Orton wakes up after McIntyre attacked him. Orton didn't realize that Orton waking up from the title shot from to the head from McIntyre. Orton's waking up from it, and Orton thinks Cody attacked him, which he didn't. And then Orton turns around Black Mass, and Aleister Black beats Randy Orton thanks to Drew McIntyre. And Cody thinks it was, and Randy thought it was Cody that screwed him, but it wasn't. And Drew's trying to screw over Jacob Fatu, is Drew McIntyre, and trying to screw with Randy Orton. And there have been the past several years where during the Elimination Chamber, that when someone's eliminated and the chamber doors open, that allows someone not in the match to interfere and screw someone out of the chamber. Like, we've seen it with Logan Paul costing Randy Orton the chamber in 2024 when McIntyre won the 2024 chamber. We've seen it with AJ Styles costing LA Knight the chamber in 2024 as well. Seth Rollins costing Punk the chamber last year. So there have been history the past several years of the chamber, or outside interference in the chamber has happened. We could possibly see it this year where someone's eliminated, it's down to Cody and Randy in the chamber for the men. And when someone's eliminated and the referee's trying to get the recently eliminated person out of the chamber where the chamber doors open. And I could see Drew fucking over Cody at the chamber and costing Cody the chamber because Drew has said, I don't want to face Cody at WrestleMania. So Drew fucks over Cody in the chamber, allowing Randy Orton to win. And how Drew tried to help Sammy win, but Sammy failed to qualify for the chamber, and Cody Rhodes pinned him in the qualifier to qualify for the chamber. And Drew and Cody are going at it, and then Sammy hits a haluva kick on Drew, and then Cody capitalizes, and Zayn's trying to do the right thing and not trying to capitalize and take advantage. Sammy's just like, I got to do the right thing. Randy Orton, unlike Sami Zayn, Randy Orton's going to do what Sami Zayn didn't do, and that's take advantage. It's going to be down to Cody and Randy in the chamber. Drew's going to try and fuck Cody over, and he fucks Cody over. And Randy's going to capitalize, do what Sami didn't do. Orton's going to take advantage. He's going to eliminate Cody. And who knows, maybe we see Orton going heel. And I think it's time Randy goes heel as well, does Randy Orton. And we got Randy Orton turning heel, RKOing Cody Rhodes. Maybe, who knows, maybe we get a punt kick, Randy Orton punting Cody Rhodes in the head. That puts Cody Rhodes out of action for a while, for a few weeks at least. And Orton wins the chamber thanks to Drew McIntyre because Drew doesn't want to face Cody at Mania. And we get Drew and Orton at Mania, but then it leads to a triple threat, then a fatal four-way. And ultimately, we get the WWE title match at WrestleMania not being a one-on-one match. And Drew McIntyre's trying to fuck around with Nick Aldis, the SmackDown general manager. And Drew's trying to fuck things up on SmackDown. And Nick Aldis says punishes Drew McIntyre, saying, Drew, you're trying to be over my head, and you're trying to wreak havoc on SmackDown and trying to make things all chaos here on SmackDown on Friday Night Drew. Well, Drew, you're being punished. And at WrestleMania, you're defending your WWE Championship in a fatal four-way against Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu. And that's how and boom, right there. I think that's what happens here. And Drew is trying to, and Drew McIntyre is just trying to create all chaos and such on SmackDown. And eventually Drew's going to pay for that, and he's going to get punished. I think that's what this all leads to right here. And then Drew is like the champion in the match, and he's like, it's like now he's got a less chance to retain the title. But I think we get Drew, Orton, Jacob, and Cody at Mania. I mean, Drew and Cody at Mania one-on-one, we've seen it how many times late last year. Nobody wants to see that again. Drew, Cody, and Jacob. I like Jacob Fatu. It's slightly better, but not there yet. But if you add Randy Orton to the mix, that makes the WWE title match at Mania that much better going into Mania. And that is an easy night one main event right there. And could go either way, unpredictable. And Randy and Cody have been teasing with something for each other, with each other for months now. And Drew's been feuding with Jacob. Drew's been feuding with Cody. Drew and Randy. Cody, Randy teasing something. These four have been feuding for several months coming out of SummerSlam. So a fatal four-way at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship main event night one with Cody, Randy, Jacob, and Drew. It just makes sense. And I would be okay with that. It's a lot better than Cody and Drew one-on-one again, and Cody, Drew, and Fatu. Adding Orton to the mix and making it a fatal four-way honestly makes things a lot better off. So I'm going Randy win the Chamber thanks to Drew, and Drew fucks Cody over. And maybe we get Randy win the WWE title at WrestleMania. I'd love to see that. I think it's overdue at this point, honestly. Randy Orton as the heel, as WWE champion coming out of WrestleMania. You get no complaints from this guy whatsoever. So I think so. The predictions for the Chamber, for the crate, I'm going Danhausen. And for the match for the Chamber, I think I'm going Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee, and CM Punk. Those are my predictions for this year's Elimination Chamber, taking place in Chicago this Saturday at the United Center. And I appreciate you guys for joining me. Though Adam Carl had to leave towards the end of the video. I apologize on that. Had something to do. Can't blame him for that. Things happen in life, so no worries on that. But hit the like on the video. Subscribe to FioriousNation if you haven't done so already. And hit the bell for all notifications when you do subscribe to FioriousNation. Helps out the channel a lot, so make sure you go and do that. At FioriNick579 over on X. At Adam Carl 2005 on X as well. TikTok at FioriousNation. Nicholas Fury 31 over on Facebook. Nicholas Fury 2014 on Instagram as well. And thank you guys so much for showing up. Love every single one of you. You guys are awesome. I will see you next week for episode 15 for Forbidden Podcast. Next week, Thursday, Saturday. Depending on how well numbers do for the Thursday, I may switch it to Thursday, but we'll see. So next week, episode 15, either March 5th or March 7th. For the week of March 14th and March 21st, those weeks are definitely Thursdays, no doubt. But either way, I appreciate you guys showing up, and I appreciate every single one of you. So, and you may very well see me for the watch party for the Chamber with Mitch this Saturday with the Chamber. So look out for that. It's possible. But once again, either way, I appreciate you guys so much. I can't thank you enough, and I words can't describe how thankful I am for all of you guys. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of your Thursday, and I will see you next time here in the channel next week, episode 15. And peace out, guys. And you may see me very, very possibly for the watch party with Mitch on Hardcore Sports for the Elimination Chamber watch party, watch along this Saturday. So possible with that. But you'll see me next time, definitely for sure. Next week, episode 15 of Forbidden Podcast. Have a good rest of your Thursday, guys. And I will see you guys later.